You have 2 minutes of these.
There we go.
Alright.
Good luck.
Then we do that. Baby Walker over here. And then
I
Guru.
can hear you.
What? You don't hear me?
Yep, I got you.
Okay, good.
Alrighty.
He's set up in his studio too over here.
Y'all are. I got this one.
Alright. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be talking about Charlie Kirk's debates. I keep hearing from, mostly it's from the people on the left talking about how racist and hateful that Charlie Kirk was in his debates. About how, they're glad he's gone because of the rhetoric and the BS that he spread. Now, from my seeing, I only know that they're saying this because it's Christian values, and that's what Charlie followed most of all and the closest. It's Christian values of, between the wife and the family dynamic and those different sets.
They're Christian values. I don't like to even really say that. I mean, because we're not Christian. I would like to say that they're traditional values.
Yes, there you go, traditional.
Because we're not Christian. And
no, we're not.
That was the one thing that I definitely could agree on with his now.
Yes.
It was a little highly politicized for my liking. But he was a champion for homeschooling. He was a champion for the traditional family values.
Yes.
And everything. Yeah, he was Christian, so he did preach some and talk about how God led him to these places and how you have to have faith and everything. But even from a non-Christian standpoint, I don't see the hate or the bigotry or anything of that nature.
No, and that's why I wanted to bring some of the debates that we found up.
Right.
We'll go over them one by one, and we'll see. I mean,
I started off with a couple of people that have negative things to say that claim that he is hateful and bigoted and everything.
Yeah.
And then I have some from some people that should be on the left and what they're saying about it, but they don't necessarily agree with that.
Yeah.
And then of course we have a few of his actual debates that
we'll be going over and we'll judge for ourselves.
When it usually comes to the racist comments, it's because they don't watch the whole thing.
It's cherry picking. It's what the left does best.
Yeah, I mean, and we're talking about tiny clips, like one sentence clips, and it's okay, that's dumb. If you're basing your assumption of this person on that alone, that's really stupid.
Yes,
because
it is.
We're talking about 3 to 4 hour long debates, and you're gonna pick 3 minutes total to make your point.
I know.
From what I understood, he was about dismantling the idea of race altogether.
Okay.
Because he talked often about there is no man, there is no woman, there is no slave, there is no master, there is no Jew, there is no Gentile, which meant everybody is equal under the eyes of God.
Yes.
And that's the most that I ever heard about him, even really bringing up race. He wasn't afraid to say, this black person might not be qualified, or it's proven that black people are more in the jail system or whatever, and he didn't shy away from that.
No.
But it wasn't racist or hateful.
No. And honestly, one of the things that's irking me the most about the whole Charlie Kirk thing, and I mean, there's a lot we've considered some of the conspiracy theorists too. I mean, it's possible, and I mean, the martyrism for the right is the biggest thing.
Right.
Is it's maybe the right did do it because of that, because it would make him bigger than life,
right?
And it would make following Trump and that side that way. That's very possible.
And
we don't know.
And you have to remember that a lot of them do see it as this literal war against good and evil.
Yes.
And so they want what they perceive to be evil is the extreme gay, trans agenda, all of that. So it's if we put a fire underneath a lot of people and point out, hey, these people are dangerous, then, more people are going to be called to action.
But where I was going with that too was the one thing that has irked me the most about this whole scenario is Candace Owens.
Candace?
Candace Owens.
Yeah.
she's pushing the ball with her conspiracies so far.
I know.
And she's pushing it with Erica in the path.
Yeah. It's too early for that kind of crap, you know?
Yeah, it is. For her, I mean, more than likely she's just doing it for views too.
Mhm.
That's what it looks like. Because, you know, she claimed that the president, what was it?
The
French
First Lady.
was a guy. And
Yeah,
she was like, I'll stick my career on this while she's not working at Daily Wire anymore. That's when she was working at Daily Wire. Or just got let off. Yeah.
I'm like, no wonder.
Yeah.
You know? The shit she said about Ben Shapiro just needing to get over it when it comes to Israel, it's like, that's his own people and shit. This is a really conflicted thing for him.
Exactly. That was big for him. It's like, you know, be more compassionate to people.
She's not having compassion.
No.
She is not a feminine woman, that's for sure. She's always also talking about traditional values and stuff, but...
I know. But I mean, yeah, that's the one thing that's irked me with her. It's the way she's going about it.
Yeah, that is too early for that. And then she's sitting there saying, I don't know why they said we had some falling out because we were best friends. Oh,
yeah.
Okay, this is how you treat your fucking friends?
I know.
I mean, because if she was friends with Charlie, she had to have been friends with Erica as well. And this
yes.
is how you're gonna, no wonder.
Yeah, the thing that I read talked about, and I'm not sure, so don't quote me on this for anybody out there. I'm trying to say it for the way that I saw it. And it talked about Candace Owens. And she had said that, like, something to do with Erica and Charlie, their relationship was over. At the end, they're, you know, and like there were some people commenting, talking about, yeah, I could see it because, you know, Charlie was like taking his ring on and off and fidgeting with it a lot. So that was just saying, you know, to me, you know, oh, it's over. And it's like people look at too far into that because I want to look at more of his videos too. But I'm pretty sure he pretty much did that with most of his videos.
Hold on, sorry. I think what it's called is a conduit, and a lot of public speakers do that. Some of them will even put like a paperclip or something in their pocket to channel that, like, you know, nervous energy, and kind of like a lightning rod. And I think that was just his conduit. You know.
Yeah, I think so too.
I do it too. My necklace, I go like this.
Yeah.
Back and forth while I'm talking.
Exactly. So I mean, you know, all respect for Erica. I mean, she's gone through hell and high water. You know, I honestly do not think that she's had anything to do with it, nor knew, if it was something bigger, I don't think she knew anything about it.
I think it would diminish the whole effect. You know?
Yeah.
It has to be legitimate.
And I think if it did go bigger, it's like president level bigger. Like, there was something major that they were trying for.
For sure.
Because, I mean, there was a lot more people that grew to that party because of this. Mm-hmm. Like, there was more of the left being thrown into the bus. But you notice that with this, there was no fighting, there was no rioting, fires, people screaming in the streets like the left is very well known for. With his death, it was the candlelight stuff and just being present in the moment with more people. So it does show you that the right has a more calm side of it. And it's like, I don't think that we need to worry about the left or the right. I think the middle needs to come together.
Right.
You know, we're supposed to be one nation, but we're divided. We are so divided.
Not in a long time has been the case, you know, and there's a reason for it, because if we can keep your citizens distracted by left versus right, right versus wrong, then you can get away with anything. And
I'm sure there's a lot more going on behind the scenes that we do not even know about.
But another positive thing that has come out of it, in my opinion, is the fact that church attendance has gone up like 200%. People are picking up Bibles for the first time.
And that's amazing. That's amazing.
So it has had, regardless, a really positive effect on people.
Because regardless, even if you're not Christian, those values are still timeless, and they're well known. They're a way that has worked for millennials. millenniums.
And millennials.
Yeah. But it's worked.
Yeah, like it's the same basic principles of all of humanity through all. I mean, because like if you didn't know anything about religion at all, it's still somehow written on your heart, like not to kill somebody, not to steal from somebody. You have this consciousness. You get a pit in your stomach if you lie. You know, and it's still there even if you know nothing about religion at all.
Yep.
All they did was go and write that down and give you a reason of why you're feeling that way.
Exactly.
You know, but it made some more clarity.
Yes.
You know, they say we don't need a book to tell us how to be good, but it makes it a lot easier.
It does.
You know,
to have guidelines to follow, to have a visual instruction, is what a lot more people need.
Yes, Bible, basic instructions before leaving Earth. Bible.
Yeah.
BIBLE. So yeah, so it's like that's perfect. And there's been thousands of Bibles from thousands of different cultures around the world forever, and they pretty much come down to the same principles.
Yes, they have.
Like men protect women, women bear children, you work together as a unit, you know, you take care of your tribe, you take care of your family, you know, you give honor to the gods.
Yes.
Through your actions, you know. When they say that Jesus is the only way, that's truthful. Because those principles are the only way that you're going to ascend past this place. Exactly. They just hung up on the picture of
yes, a lot of people do, yes.
Know, like look past the man and look at the principles behind it.
Yeah, truth.
Exactly.
Truth is timeless.
In not time. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. All right, so let's see here. Let's get on with our videos. Present. Screen. We got 2 people watching.
So what's your first one?
Charlie Kirk shreds the myth of.
No, I didn't do this right. Can I see it for a second?
Yeah.
I had a feeling it.
Can you hand me a couple of apples?
Sorry, no, if I get this one.
There's even like a blasphemous one here that was like,
they
say that Jesus returns.
I'm
giving it this way.
No, hell no. Ah. I'm freezing to death, that's what's happening.
Is that good?
Dystopia warning, obviously. Now, it's not very often that I veer into American politics because, let's face it, things are mental enough in Britain.
I got somebody from Britain who's talking about it, and it's like, what are you guys doing?
Mm-hmm.
You're not even over.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe it. This makes me so mad.
He's going to be the next talker.
So I've been gaslit for the past week and a half since.
The one that I'm trying to get to.
Hello. Oh.
Yeah.
Be respectful, guys. He can do what he wants.
I want to start with. Like,
oh, can I start now? Oh. Nice to meet you, Charlie. I'm a big fan. I think you're a very beautiful man. I admire you physically.
This first one is from this old crotchety sounding fellow.
Make no mistake about it. I am not celebrating what happened to Charlie Kirk. This is not the society that we should live in. Just like I didn't celebrate what happened to that healthcare system. That's not the fucking society I want to live in. But if you're going to sit here and tell me that Charlie Kirk as a human being was not a bad human being, I'm going to tell you how wrong you are all day. This guy here says, what bigotry and hate speech did he spew?
You can kind of pick through it, you can figure it out. You're a big boy. All right.
Am I really?
Start with that one.
Chat room.
I have it here. Try not to get out of stuff and back into it because it's being really slow. You don't want that. I have to check.
I got. Oh wait, I didn't. Can you mute? I gotta mute this one though.
You have to mute it from there.
I know. That's why I gotta go back into it. All right, we're getting into it now. We got.
Make no mistake about it. I am not celebrating what happened to Charlie Kirk. This is not the society that we should live in. Just like I didn't celebrate what happened to that healthcare CEO. That's not the fucking society I want to live in. But if you're going to sit here and tell me that Charlie Kirk as a human being was not a bad human being, I'm going to tell you how wrong you are all day. This guy here says, what bigotry and hate speech did he spew? Be specific. Okay, here's his own words.
Sorry, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. Reed and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee and Ketanji Brown Jackson were affirmative action picks, we would have been called racist. But now they're coming out and they're saying it for us. They're coming out and they're saying, I'm only here because of affirmative action. Yeah, we know. You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously. You had to go steal a white person's slot to go be taken somewhat seriously. Play cut 52. If I'm dealing with somebody in customer service who's a moronic black woman, I wonder, is she there because of her excellence, or is she there because of affirmative action? It almost creates thought patterns that are not necessarily, no one really cares when it's HR managers. No one cared when it was, just kind of paper shufflers or even engineers. But now when it's like, wait, hold on a second. You're going to remove my appendix and you're a black lesbian. Charlie Kirk. I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given. I can't stand the word empathy, actually. I think empathy is a made-up New Age term that... The point is that it's so materially insane to think that 1 in 5 American women will be raped in their life.
It is. I agree.
Meaning that they're lying about being raped, that they're lying about being sexually assaulted.
You believe that people lie about being sexually
all the time.
And that's just a few examples. This is a man who said that if, and I forget the exact ages, but if you're a 19-year-old college man and you're with an 18-year-old college woman and it's 2:00 in the morning after you guys have had a few drinks and you're making out and she removes consent, that's a gray area as to whether or not you can continue to have intercourse with her if she now wants you to stop. Yeah, that's something Charlie Kirk actually said. Charlie Kirk said that Martin Luther King isn't deserving of having his own holiday and everybody should go to work on his holiday. These are just a handful of the vile and disgusting things that Charlie Kirk has espoused over the years. Does that mean somebody should have put a bullet in him? No, that's not the society we want to live in. Because if we say that we should be able to put a bullet in him because we feel strongly enough against the things that he says, then the people who feel strongly enough against the things that we say are entitled to put a bullet in us. That's not the way society should be. But to sit here and pretend like he wasn't a bigot, that he didn't spew hate speech, that's not going to fly.
New York City has froze the rent a bunch of times within the last 10.
Alright, are we still good? Yeah. It went over here and I thought it removed this middle one, but everything's still there.
Okay.
So we're good.
So no, I had to teach Tristan the word bigot years ago when he was like in the 5th grade, because it means somebody who is intolerant of other people's beliefs and ways. Because we were experiencing that ourselves out here
that's
all the fucking time.
Yeah.
Like he was excluded from stuff. They rolled their eyes about things that he wanted to try and teach them. They literally said that he was a devil worshiper and stuff like that. It was like they're literally bigoted out here. They are intolerant of other people's ways. That's what that means.
Yeah, a lot of them are.
Now, fast forward to just a couple of years ago, and every motherfucker is using that goddamn word.
Yeah. It's like it wasn't said much. I mean, you knew it, like you said, and everything.
Because it was like legitimately happening.
Yeah.
You know, like,
But it's
there are
like
legitimate
the
bigots
left
here.
brought this word to be used everywhere.
Yeah, and I saw it even in the comments that you made, like with on Nicholas's and stuff. You know?
Yeah. You know, the whole bigotry and everything, and it's like these people. It's like I really wonder where. You know, they like we talked about. They cherry pick what they want people to see in order to make it look like he is. Because
I mean, that guy had like just a handful of like seconds
of clips.
You know, just like not even a minute. It's like I want to hear it, just like with the Bible. You know, I want to hear the verse before, I want to hear the verse afterwards, and I want to hear different translations of it, and then I'll make my decision.
Yeah.
But they don't give that to you. They just give you tiny pieces.
Because it's only what suits them.
Yes.
That's what they want.
And any of the other stuff that he was saying, like he didn't have a clip to back that up.
No. So what was it again that we talked about right before? He said, what did he talk about? That I said he never said that.
I don't know, something about like 18-year-olds getting drunk in college.
Oh yeah, about the college, about how they the graping. Yeah.
Well, it is true too, because it's like a man and a woman stick together. They're both drunk.
Yeah.
She can claim it to be grape, and he can't.
Exactly.
Know?
That's
even though neither one of them are coherent enough to, you know, like make a sound decision.
And they'll talk about a guy not having the ability, like even with the college levels, the guy not having the ability to be great.
Right.
Just like you just talked about with the married couple.
Right.
You know, and this is on the college thing. It's like
no, that's what I was talking about college. I was talking about people like consenting adults that are like drunk.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if they're.
Yeah, it doesn't matter
whatever,
either way.
You know,
but yeah.
If a man is drunk and a woman is drunk to the same exact degree of which they are not coherent enough to make a decision.
Yeah, it should be.
Why can she claim greed but he can't?
They both should be able to.
Yeah,
There's
or
no
just,
reason.
Just neutralize.
Yeah.
You know. Like,
yeah. Well, exactly. I mean, that's going to be the case because you're going to get a lot of people doing that. Like you said, neutralize it.
Yeah.
Just say, listen.
Sorry,
you both made poor decisions.
Right.
We're done.
Exactly. So you can do that.
Yes. That's the best way to go about a situation like that.
Most of the time, women will wait freaking months and then they find something that pisses them off, and then like, well, you remember there's this night, and like, oh my god, that's great. You know that, right? You need to turn him in.
I know, and then it's like they're mad at him, so it's like, oh yeah, let's do that.
Yes. And it's like you should not be able to make decisions based on just emotional instability.
No, you shouldn't.
Know, especially as a woman when we have such violent ups and downs, you know.
Like we talked about in previous ones too. The going on your week.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Most women are like, oh my god, don't talk about that. Oh my god, that doesn't make any difference. That doesn't, and it's like, yes, that's why a woman should never be president, because once she hits that point.
Yeah, unless she's like postmenopausal.
Yes.
Which
yes.
makes sense, because then they'd be like probably the most solid frame of mind that they've ever been.
It's true.
I never really thought about that, but yeah, like if they were over the age of 50 or 60, maybe, you know, maybe.
But not if they're under.
Right.
Because it's too unstable as far as what they're going to say from week to week.
And I would say if they've had a hysterectomy, but that's not true either, because they usually have to have hormone replacements.
Yes.
So if that's off, forget it. You know, like, it is what it is, and it's like I have the tracking app for mine, and it actually tells you like the luteal phase.
Yeah, you've gone over it, and you're like, oh my god, that's like spot on right now.
It tells you exactly what to expect, and it's like, see, so they know this, but then they deny it.
Yeah.
In those situations.
Yes.
You know, that's irrational.
Very much so. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Alrighty, let's go on to the next one.
I'm trying to look at blocks.
Years. They literally have a board that is dedicated to freezing the rent. It's not about can we do it, it's about if we should do it. Also, make everything free? Yeah, like free at the point of service, not literally make everything free. Zoran has literally gone line by line and explained how he's going to pay for everything, but whatever. It seems that Charlie thinks that Zoran's ideology is in, quote, similar form to Al-Qaeda, which is absurd. Zoran Mamdani is one of the most progressive politicians in the country. No person who says that they're for queer liberation is a radical Islamic fundamentalist. You're just being racist. And again, there is a racial component. If Zoran was a white Muslim, the attacks wouldn't be nearly as vile. Charlie also implies that Muslim immigration is ruining America's cities? How? He provides no evidence, so I did some digging. A few weeks ago, he tweeted out this. This is New York. We are being conquered and they are rubbing it in our face. Islam is steadily enveloping the West. Then there's a video of a TikTok that shows Shia Muslims celebrating Ashura in New York. The TikTok adds intimidating music to scare the viewer. But then the music stops playing.
Okay, we're unmuted.
Okay, so like, I do remember there's been a few times where not just him, but including Matt Walsh and a few of the others talk about like the rise of the Muslim empire in America and all of this stuff, and it's like, I don't like that because it's like come from a totally different cultural background.
Yes.
But they're allowed to be wanting to preserve their way of life, just like anybody else.
Exactly.
If he wants to be a proud white Christian nationalist American person, he can do so, and he can talk about that. Just
Yes.
like these guys can go and talk about why they're proud brown Muslim nationalist people. You know, I mean that's the beauty
Exactly.
of America. So
that is the very basic thing of what America is and stands up for.
Exactly. So it's like to be mad at it because he wants to like support his race and his religion and everything. It's like that's not wrong. That's what we're made for.
Yes,
you know?
exactly. He approves.
Wow. So scary. Look at all those brown people, Muslims, dressed in black, casually walking the streets of New York and holding up a banner. So scary. Look at that guy. Look, that guy's drinking. He's drinking something. What is he drinking? That could be a threat. This is definitely enveloping the West. It's hilarious to think that this is scary. It looks no different from Chinese New Yorkers celebrating Chinese New Year in public, or Irish New Yorkers celebrating St. Patrick's Day, or Jewish New Yorkers celebrating Yom Kippur. To say that this one is somehow uniquely scary above all others is Islamophobia. And Muslim immigration isn't ruining America's cities. Strict zoning policies and NIMBYism are ruining America's cities by artificially restricting the housing supply and making them unaffordable places to live. New York City, like America in general, is a melting pot that has had waves of immigrants come from all different parts of the world, and it's made America better. But for some reason, Charlie thinks Islam and Muslims are uniquely incompatible with the West. Why is this? What are Charlie Kirk's problems with Islam?
For anyone that has eyes to see and ears to hear and actually reads the Hadith and reads parts of the Quran, you know that conquest is an Islamic value. Islam has conquest values. They seek to take over land and territory.
Yes, because Christian countries definitely do not have a history of conquest. Absolutely no Christian majority society has ever done conquest in the name of God. But Hadi, these aren't recent examples. Islam wants to conquer the West in the modern day. So true. So let's look at the modern day. Since World War II, Afghanistan has invaded 0 countries. Algeria has invaded 0 countries. Bangladesh has invaded 0 countries. Egypt, 2. Iran, 0. Iraq, 3. Jordan, 1. Lebanon, 1. Malaysia, 0. Morocco, 0. Oman, 0. Pakistan, 1. Saudi Arabia, 1. Somalia, 1. Syria, 3. Tunisia, 0. Turkey, 1. Yemen, 1. Meanwhile, the peaceful West with the United States has only invaded 8 countries. And if that number seems low, keep in mind that I'm using a very strict definition of the word invasion. This list doesn't even include Korea, Vietnam, Syria, or the Dominican Republic, which, while technically not invasions, were offensive conflicts with American boots on the ground. But no, it's definitely Islam that's rapidly taking over the West.
Europe is now a conquered continent. It is not what it used to be. It's a husk of its former self, which is increasingly Mohammedan.
So true. I mean, look at this map of Iranian military bases in Europe. Oh, wait, sorry. No, this is a map of US military bases in the Middle East. But Hadi, these wars weren't caused by religion. Really? During the Cold War, American propaganda played up the narrative that the struggle between capitalism and communism was also a struggle between the Christian West and the atheist Eastern Bloc. Or how about when General William Boykin gave a speech recounting his confrontation with the Muslim warlord in Somalia in the 90s and saying that he won because, quote, my God was bigger? Or how about when George Bush referred to the war on terror as a crusade?
This crusade, this war.
All right, now as far as all this goes, I'm not very well known with a lot of this stuff. I know that Charlie was well read up, though, on most of this.
Yeah, if anybody's going to go out there and say stuff publicly, they seem to have quite a bit of backing, and he was always bringing sources. So.
I mean, that was his whole stance, was you need sources, like 2, 3 sources for each thing you say. So for him to have just gone and been like saying stuff that you guys can destroy like that, I just can't see it, because that's not who he was.
Somebody would have had it out with him.
Yeah, because why is it that this person's now coming up with this after he's gone?
No, this video was from 2 months ago.
Oh, was it? So.
Yeah. And it was just like the timing was just kind of freaky.
Yeah. But still, I don't know enough about that subject.
No, like I said, it's conflicting to me because different cultures, whatever. Like I said, Matt Walsh kind of says the same thing. So does Michael.
Yes.
Jones, that whole group, and it kind of irks me because it's like, Jesus, like you're really like not believing the whole freedom of religion thing here.
I know.
Which is kind of not good, but. Like when it comes to radicalism, like that's across the board. You have that here in America, you have that there, and it's like if it is in fact a threat, then it needs to be addressed. Like we have our own radicals here with like Antifa and stuff. So,
I know, very much so. That's the biggest threat that we have right now. And it's like, as far as it's just talking about now, about the United States having invaded 8 different countries. And they said that's not even, they said like Korea, and they said a couple other places.
The United States has?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. We're talking about, there's...
But I mean, is that really invading? If they're participating within a war, it is not really an invasion.
No.
Invasions are very specific. They're meant to take over.
Right. They have no interest in those places.
And the United States government never took over any of the places.
Right. Like as far as the Western world, like when it comes to like Britain and everything, Britain has got its foot in like 21 different countries or something.
Yeah.
Trying to bring their way to the rest of the world. Well, that hasn't worked. They were going to make everything Western, like in the early 1800s, and it hasn't worked. There's plenty of cultures that have retained their autonomy.
Yes.
So. And I see that still, even with the places supposedly America has invaded. It's like they're still doing their cultural stuff. The Americans aren't really invading there or changing much of anything.
I know.
So, yeah, I don't know. It's not quite the same thing. It's
No.
not the same thing as hearing about some place in Michigan or something, where the whole entire city is completely Arab run.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, there was that one, and then there was the other side taking over
the
Haitians.
Yes. Weird.
Yeah.
How does that even happen?
It was proven that they were trying to drive and didn't know what they were doing. They were crashing vehicles.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Fucking crazy shit. in this Arab-run city, the mayor is Muslim, and a Christian minister had a complaint about like the streets being named after some basically, I mean, I hate to say it, but basically I guess you want to call him a freedom fighter, but let's call it what it is, a terrorist.
Yep.
And the guy was making an objection to that, and the Muslims like came off on him. Was like, he's like, you're a citizen here, but I don't want you here. And the day that you leave, I'll throw a parade. He's like, because you're not inclusive. You don't tolerate differences. And I'm like,
wow.
No, we're talking about the same thing. You can't tolerate his differences either. You're not living
exactly.
in the relevant light either.
Yeah.
You know? Like, what do you know, I don't know.
That's exactly right. All right, back to it.
On terrorism is going to take a while.
Or how about when George Bush said that he invaded Iraq because God told him to?
In the Islamic texts, they spend so much time about people who do not share their values. There are like direct calls in Islam of what to do for those that don't believe, and it's a very pernicious preoccupation.
This is true. The Quran does call for violence against non-believers. Like, look at Surah Al-Anfal, which says, "Remember, O Prophet, when your Lord revealed to the angels, I am with you, so make the believers stand firm. I will cast horror into the hearts of disbelievers, so strike their necks and strike their fingertips." Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 191, says this about non-believers: "Kill them wherever you come upon them, and drive them out of the places from which they have driven you out, for persecution is far worse than killing. And do not fight them at the sacred mosque unless they attack you there. If they do so, then fight them. That is the reward of the disbelievers." And of course, most infamously, Surah Al-Janeen, verse 37, which states, "If a man or woman living among you in one of the towns Allah gives you is found doing evil in the eyes of Allah in violation of his covenant, and contrary to my command has worshipped other gods, bowing to them or to the sun or to the moons or the stars in the sky, and this has been brought to your attention, then you must investigate it thoroughly. If it is true, and it has been proved that this detestable thing has been done in Arabia, take that man or woman who has done this evil deed to your city gate and stone that person to death." Horrible stuff. Except that last quote was actually from Deuteronomy, chapter 17, verses 2 to 5. Instead of Allah, it says the Lord, and instead of Arabia, it says Israel. Then, of course, there's 2 Chronicles, chapters 15, verse 12, which states, "And they entered into the covenant to seek the Lord, the God of their fathers, with all their heart and with all their soul, but that whoever would not seek the Lord, the God of Israel, should be put to death, whether young or old, man or woman." It seems that both the Bible and the Quran have called for violence against and the murder of non-believers. But Charlie downplays calls for violence in the Bible.
Christianity spends a fair amount of time on it, but nowhere near Islam, though.
But plays up calls for violence in the Quran. In May, while in England, Charlie Kirk went on the conservative GB News and talked about the decline of Christianity in the West. And he said some crazy things.
Can a civilization continue when it cuts off what gave it life? Probably not. And that's what modernity is flirting with right now. And so then you get all these counterfeit religions. You get environmentalism. Why do you guys think you guys are doing this insane net neutral carbon stuff by 2050? Net zero, yeah. So you get rid of Christianity and then you get a substitute form of earth worship.
Yes, because caring about the habitability of the planet we all live on is earth worship. I care about having a house, Charlie, but that doesn't mean I'm praying to Bob the Builder.
You get rid of Christianity and then you get a substitute form of anti-racism.
Okay, anti-racism is obviously not a religion. I don't know why Charlie would say such an idiotic thing.
You get rid of Christianity and then, even more dangerous, you go from secularism then to Islam. Because then you're like, well, we have to believe in something, and then you bring in a completely different ideology that's at odds with Western values.
Charlie, people watching this now would say it's just Islamists who are the issue. Islam as a religion is peaceful by nature, so on and so on. What's your response to that?
I know a lot of great individual Muslims. My primary doctor in America is actually a Muslim, and he's amazing. That's not the point. You can walk the street and meet a great Muslim in London. The question is macro Islam compatible with Western values?
Okay, again, this person is bringing up things that he's saying but we don't have the full context of it. The clips are a little longer, but not long enough to truly get what Charlie is arguing. I don't know what the original question is that he got asked.
What did he say?
He talked about like anti-racism and stuff, about Christianity not having that, and then it was just it's all random stuff that he's like just.
Yeah, because like I said, as far as I knew, he was anti-racist. That he was like destroying the idea of race in general, trying to put everybody equal under like authority of God.
Because he said that if we get rid of, we're getting rid of Christianity. That's his main thing that he said so far. And he's like, we're getting rid of Christianity, and if we do, he was like, then we're gonna have things, like something about anti-racism and.
If they got rid of Christianity in this country, there would most definitely be more racism.
Yes.
Because, like, a lot of the other cultures, that's just like, that is part of it.
It is, for sure.
Anybody outside of that is an infidel, and so there would definitely be a lot more racism if they got rid of Christianity in the United States.
Yeah. But I mean, like I said, as far as like what's being said right now, is this guy's playing these clips. And it just is enough to confuse you because he's only playing certain parts. And it's like you don't know the question that was asked. You don't know
what the context is.
So it doesn't work.
That doesn't help, And it's like for anybody that is confused and conflicted, go and watch the shit yourself.
Yes.
There was
find the whole thing.
There was a Black American guy, and he said he watched 50 hours of Charlie Kirk stuff and never found a single racist remark. It's like it's all about context, and I guess it's all about how you're going to receive it too. Because, like I said,
it's true. Yes,
they've redefined violence and they've redefined hatred.
Yes,
and bigotry and everything. It's like it's so soft now.
Because the left, it's like okay, they call it hateful and everything else if you do not use the pronouns.
Yes, that's violence. Like
we've never in history really used pronouns. We have a little bit.
We do it all the time.
Well, okay, but I mean, yeah, but I'm just saying it's not like.
Not the neo pronouns.
None of the in depth of it.
No.
There is in general, but I mean, like we've always known what makes a man, what makes a woman.
Right.
You've known that, and you've known what they are.
And if there's an in between,
and
then they're in between, and that's that.
Yeah. But then now it's like a guy wants to look like a guy, but it's like no, I identify as a woman. What?
Like the one I showed you, full beard,
yes.
wearing a dress.
Yeah.
A fancy ass dress.
And some of the ones that want to go into women's locker rooms so that they can actually like watch women get undressed, but it's like, oh, I'm a woman, so what do you mean you're gonna kick me out of here?
And that's violence, that's hatred, that's bigotry.
Yes.
And it's like I said, we grew up in the freaking 90s. That is not that.
No.
We saw the riots in LA. There was like a true race war and everything. That was scary as hell.
Yes.
And it's like the people are so soft.
Oh, they are. Because they've got their safe spaces now.
Yep.
It's like, oh, somebody doesn't agree with you, then you need to go and like rock yourself to sleep in a corner.
Even in college, they have designated little safe spaces that you can make a pillow fort and all this crap.
And all they're
those are cool.
All they're doing is allowing people not to grow up.
Right. And I mean, the whole point is to grow up to a point that you can actually retain childlike qualities.
Yes.
Like, which means like, curiosity and playfulness and setting time aside for things like that.
Yes, exactly.
Like,
but don't get super serious.
Yeah, right. I mean, like, but be functional.
Yes.
So that you can be that.
Exactly.
Macro. Of course it's not. There are three major reasons why. Islam does not believe in freedom of speech. Islam does not believe in freedom of religion. And Islam does not believe in separation of mosque and state. Those three things are antithetical to the West.
Let's break these down one by one.
Islam does not believe in freedom of speech.
Well, while the Quran doesn't have a blanket verse either promoting or condemning free speech, neither does the Bible. Sure, the Quran says that lying is a sin and gossiping is a sin, but these are both sins in the Bible as well. So are you saying that the Bible is against Western values? Sure, many Muslim countries don't have freedom of speech, but that's not because of religion. It's because they have authoritarian governments that punish dissenters. That's politics, not religion.
Islam does not believe in freedom of religion.
Well, this point plays into one of Charlie Kirk's arguments as to why Palestinians shouldn't have a state. That Islam is a barbaric religion that can't tolerate others. In fact, a lot of his Islamic arguments seem to center around one thing: Israel.
Can you show me an example of Jews living peacefully under Islamic rule?
I can. The Fatimid Caliphate, which was generally religiously tolerant of Christians and Jews. There's also Al-Andalus, Muslim-ruled Spain, which was very tolerant of Jews. In fact, Al-Andalus became a hub for Jewish intellectuals, and many historians say that a golden age of Jewish culture in Spain took place under Muslim rule. The Ottoman Empire was also very tolerant of Jews during most of its history, in many cases way more tolerant than Europe. There's a lot more examples. In many Muslim societies throughout history, Jews were considered dhimmis, non-believers who were given special protection and tolerance in exchange for paying a tax. Jews have lived peacefully in many Muslim nations for thousands of years. It was really only until Muslim countries declined and faced hardships when Jews started to get scapegoated. But blaming minorities for
Dystopia warning, obviously. Now, it's not.
Alright, that last setup was just, it was too deep. It was, there's too much context to have to be able to hear, see. I don't know that much on a lot of those topics, so for me to intervene on any of that, I just can't. I don't know. You know, and Charlie was very versed in all that, so.
You said you would have to be if you're going to go out to the public and do that.
Yes, and especially all the appearances that he made.
Like I said, it's hard to tell if he's talking about Islam the religion or Islam the state. Because
Yeah.
Islam is a religious state, it's a theocracy. So, like, what they might believe in and enact as a state might not necessarily actually reflect the religion itself in the book and the context.
Yes.
Because just like in Christianity, there's people that cherry pick that too to suit their narrative. You know?
Well, and yeah.
Anybody in power is going to do that.
Exactly. And I mean, anywhere. It's always happening.
Yeah.
So let's see what this next one has to say.
Very often that I veer into American politics because, let's face it, things are mental enough in Britain. However, it's pretty difficult to ignore, not least because of the graphic snuff films that are circulating, the murder of far-right activist Charlie Kirk in Utah yesterday. I want to make a really important point right at the very beginning of this video. I don't condone political violence. I don't condone people being murdered. But I think it's really important to acknowledge, in terms of the aftermath and the response to this, that there is an awful amount of hypocrisy going on. Kirk was essentially a white supremacist. They call it Christian nationalists nowadays. White colonial powers built their empires on violence, land theft, forced labor, murders, slavery. Then they called the outcome civilization. And when that same violence was turned around on them, they referred to it as barbarism. Violence, it seems, is only legitimate when it serves the most powerful people, i.e., white, rich people. If you build an order on domination, then those who are affected by it are going to inevitably resist. And today we are seeing the very same pattern. When politicians scapegoat minorities, when conspiracies about replacement theories are pushed, when politicians scapegoat migrants, when culture wars spread fear and suspicion, they're all fueling the same cycle. That rhetoric breeds hatred, and hatred breeds desperate responses. Violence is never the answer, but you can't spend years stoking fear and rage and suspicion and paranoia and then act shocked when people respond to the climate that you created. Now, I understand that not everyone's going to be aware of who Charlie Kirk was and what he stood for. And I also understand that it's perfectly acceptable to have a nuanced, varied view on this. You can think that political violence is not acceptable and that it's a very poor response to someone that you disagree with and condemn that. On the other hand, you can also be forgiven for not really feeling anything and not feeling any empathy for someone that spent his life making the lives of other people difficult, and a life that showed very little empathy for a range of people, from gay people to women to people of colour. I'm going to go through some of the things that Charlie Kirk was known for. He wasn't just a podcaster. He wasn't just a commentator. He was an extremist. Why? Because of the rhetoric, apocalyptic framing, racist conspiracies, anti-LGBT plus and misogynistic framing, and also his role in election denialism. His relationship with Trump was extremely close, and he was essentially Trump's youth movement propagandist, turning campuses into breeding grounds for MAGA politics and staying loyal after January the 6th. And this was done via Turning Point USA, which was essentially a radicalization scheme for the youth. Their big sell was that the left is ruining your life. It was very anti.
You know, okay, some people should just stick to their own country. I mean, she probably doesn't even do anything for her own country, nor... Yeah.
They've got a shitstorm of stuff going on in their
She said it herself. She said that. And it's like, then you should probably stick to that, because when you come doing all this nonsense, it's the whole fall of the Western civilization. You know, they all spew this hatred of what civilization should really look like.
I don't think that, I mean, he was strong in his opinions, but by far and away he wasn't the extremist that people are making him out to be.
No.
There's no way to be that in the political sphere that we have right now.
I know.
It's like with social media, with the way people are so opinionated about stuff, there's just no way.
Nope.
And it's like, yeah, the KKK is radical. The KKK is the extreme thing, you know. Things
Yes.
and I've seen a lot of people that have some very extreme ideals. There's a Facebook page that I follow that is just all about promoting white living, you know,
Okay.
and saying only white babies matter. And then they're very open about it. They do not care. He wasn't saying that.
No.
You know, like, please.
No, he was all for all different colors.
Yeah, like he said, all equal under the eyes of God.
Yes.
You know, so.
But it's like they don't make it look like that. They're just like, oh my God, he was a white supremacist. He only cared about the higher ups, and that's BS.
It's just what you hear.
Yes.
That's what they hear, and that's what they spin, and that's right.
Well, and especially for like Britain, that's all their news would be.
Right.
Their news would only be saying that.
Right.
So this person would have no choice but to only know that.
They're the ones that I was talking about that has their foot in like 21 different countries trying to make the Western world their world.
Exactly.
The ways of England are the ways of the world. You know, that's what they always say.
That's what the people in the United States came to get away from.
Exactly.
Anti-feminist, anti-migrants, included climate change denial, and they essentially framed rebellion as siding with the far right. Why did they do this? Because the right knew that it couldn't get by relying on the votes of the old forever, so they started targeting the young. They did this via kind of like meme warfare, you know, targeting young people on TikTok. That's why a lot of young people are aware of who Charlie Kirk is. They were his target audience. And they did this by framing themselves as like an outsider voice to appeal to younger viewers that might be disillusioned by the reality of having hard right governments. And the problem is with this is that it pushes people directly into the radicalization pipeline. A 17-year-old might start watching a Charlie Kirk or a Farage rant on TikTok and end up deep in the conspiracy pipeline within a very short amount of time because of the way that the algorithms work. And what we've got here is a crossover between Turning Point UK, Turning Point USA, and Reform. Reform are doing exactly the same.
I think the funniest thing that this woman is saying is it's happening to her. It's the exact thing that she is saying. It's like, oh, he was a far right person, and it's like, oh, the rhetoric, they can get caught up in it because that's all they get shown. That's what they see, and it's like, you're doing it.
Like, they're saying that, Turning Point's a radical organization.
It's not.
I'm like, obviously they have strong beliefs.
Yes.
I don't call that radical. Like, the people that are going around with machine guns and machetes in, Africa and forcing people to have their arms cut off if they don't vote the right way for their part to feel a part of the government. That's
Exactly.
radical. Like, good God. The beheadings of jihad, that's radical.
Yes.
People expressing themselves very firmly about what they believe in the direction that they want the country to go for the greater good, that's not radical.
That's not at all, no.
You can still step away from that without worrying if you're going to be killed.
I know.
But now, look what they swear around.
Yeah.
Same thing, because they don't have any original ideas whatsoever. And that's precisely why you've seen Farage coming out with a gushing tribute. The same Farage that's been pictured with rapist Conor McGregor and accused sex trafficker and rapist Andrew Tate. Because the veil of Christianity, traditional values, conservatism were used as a way to subjugate the rights of women and roll back the rights of trans people, gay people, people of colour, which kind of also hooks into that whole trad wife trend that we've seen. Very subtle ways for them to recruit and radicalise younger people into the far right. And not just that, when you look at it closely, the funding models are similar too. Reform UK, a right-wing populist party led by Nigel Farage in terms of donors, well, they're importing Trump-style tactics there, seeking big donors, hiding donations in crypto, which covers up all that foreign interference. Hard targeting and money being poured into TikTok and other social media outlets, using think tanks that are actually not think tanks, but they're just mates or activists for reform, pretending to be credible think tanks. Turning Point UK did it more directly. GB News is essentially an experiment for the kind of extreme so-called news channels that you see in America. Reform and Turning Point UK are essentially trying to clone what Kirk, what Turning Point USA were doing. They want to claim the youth vote. Let's take a look at some of the things that Charlie Kirk said, shall we? And let's start off with the sexist statements. He made many comments about birth control, women's attractiveness, women's rights. He said birth control made women angry and bitter. He said that females over the age of 30 aren't attractive in the dating pool, and suggested that young women were suffering because they were focusing on work rather than
All right, we're reading some of this too, but this is hilarious because birth control he's claiming birth control makes women angry and bitter, and it does. It's hormonal. That is the point of it.
Says Kirk appeared to say that women should prioritize motherhood over careers, and trying to get women are suffering because they're encouraged to focus on jobs and families. I see truth. He criticized birth control claiming it makes women angry and bitter than females. I can't read it.
Females over 30 aren't attractive in the dating pool. They're not.
Yeah,
it's because of the it's not because
they're ugly.
They're ugly. It's because of their stance.
It's the fucking attitude.
Yes.
That makes them ugly. And some of them are ugly. I'm sorry, but so yeah, it doesn't really have to do with physical appearance. It's just, and yes, I agree with absolutely everything here. Because how many women now are off of fucking birth control because they're finding out, so many. Oh, I was all over the place. I was angry. I was anxious. I was this. I was that. It's because it's your fucking birth control. It's stopping a natural function, and they don't just give it to women now because of pregnancy. They give it to them to quote unquote regulate their cycles.
Yeah.
They'd be giving it to 14-year-olds to regulate their cycles, and they don't have regular cycles yet.
No.
And that throws you off. That's so screwed up.
Yes.
I had so many problems with birth control, but every single freaking type. The best was the IUD because it wasn't hormonal, but that came with its own trade-off.
They did, yes, very much so.
Okay, so there's one. I disagree. As a female, I disagree.
And having families. This is 1950s level shit. He promoted a model where women should see men as protectors and leaders, which marginalised women's autonomy and our diversity of purposes as entire human beings, not just fucking breeders. He condemned being gay at its very core by quoting Leviticus. He had opposition to gender-affirming care. He described progressive, sexual or gender-based policy
All right, let's go over more of this that she's saying too. Okay, he also lashed out at the gay community, denouncing what he called the LGBTQ agenda, expressing opposition to same-sex marriage and suggesting the Bible verse Leviticus 20:13, which endorses the execution of homosexuals, serves as God's perfect law when it comes to the sexual matter.
Yeah, I'd have to again listen to his entire context on that one.
Well, yeah, and for one, you know, that is the way that Christianity is supposed to be. You cannot be gay and be with somebody and be a Christian.
Right.
It is. It's nothing that, you know, oh, it's what he's spewing, it's what this. No,
Which is
it's,
literally what
it
says there.
is.
Yeah. Like, in our religion, it's also looked down upon, but it's kind of like, well, you'll find out. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
I accept you, I'll treat you with dignity, but you're going to find out.
And
But he's criticizing not gay people. He's criticizing the LGBTQAIA plus agenda.
Yes.
Which is like you said, the forced pronouns. We're gonna teach this shit in schools. We're gonna have drag queen story time. You know, that's the agenda.
That is very much so.
That isn't gay people, and there's plenty of gay people that agree with that.
Yeah.
They don't want it either.
They don't either. No. And this, okay, the whole the Bible verse Leviticus 20:13, which endorses the execution of homosexuals. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, they're supposed to be stoned. Let me bring it up though.
Yeah.
Every single person in the LGBT community hates Leviticus. Leviticus is very, very strong on.
But the Christianity faith is.
And this is Old Testament. We're talking about Old Testament here, so it's even more ruthless. Sorry.
But I mean, regardless, there's nothing that they can back up into this to say otherwise. This is Christianity. It's not just.
It's not a soft,
you know,
softened version.
And it's not it could be, it couldn't be. No, this has been proven. This is.
Actually, you know, no. It says if man lies with a male as lying with a woman, they both committed an abomination. They certainly will die. It does not say how. That means probably dying of spirit. It will be disconnected from the Lord. Could get AIDS.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it doesn't say to go and stone them and kill them. It said they will certainly die. It said their blood is upon them.
Okay, and this one here, I actually heard this next one, so I do know. This is what Kirk had said. I don't agree with your lifestyle. Kirk told a gay Wisconsin college student last September.
Yep, I remember.
I don't think you should introduce yourself just based on your sexuality because I told you this one, remember?
Mm-hmm. I do remember.
Because that's not who you are. Yes, he is saying that there is more to people than being like, oh, I am gay.
Exactly.
No, you are worth more than that. You are worth a individuality.
You don't come up and say, hi, I'm LongWalker and I'm a straight man from California. You know, that's weird, right?
Mm-hmm.
That'd be weird. Why? Exactly. You know. I can't believe they're using that.
I know.
These as sexual anarchy. And what about the racism? He once said, and I quote, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, is he qualified. He called George Floyd the murdered black.
Okay, it says it right here. I didn't mute it yet because we were reading stuff and talking. Also, in January 2024, Kirk blamed DEI programs for national aviation issues. Yes, because They were hiring black people just as black
Yeah,
people.
right.
It is a DEI hire.
Initiative,
So that is what he is saying. He is saying that right now you have to be looking at the people like, is that person actually qualified to be flying that plane? Or is it just a DEI hire and this person has no qualifications to be in that plane?
Right. There was nothing ever stopping black people, women, lesbians, gays, or anything from those jobs. They just happen to not
Want to do it.
exactly. But now they get these incentives and stuff to do it. And of course, they're going to come crawling in. You know.
And not necessarily are they good. I would rather have a qualified pilot over some stupid DEI hire.
Like the perfect example is a subscriber Sancho. You know, like he is a young man and he is like working his ass off.
Yes.
Like to earn these places so that he can do the next thing he wants to go into, like what, firefighting.
Yeah, I think so. Fire. Yeah.
And he has like taken tests and he's done the work and he's like really worked his ass off, and he happens to be Hispanic. But people are going to look at that and still again wonder: did you earn it, or are you just a DEI hire?
Yeah,
You
and
know?
that's a problem.
And there could be another guy that is hired that hasn't done all of those things that he's done that is a DEI hire, you know?
I know.
It's already illegal to discriminate hiring somebody based on their sexual orientation, their race, their creed, their color. You know, it's already illegal to discriminate. So
Exactly.
why do they have to add another program?
That's exactly right. There is no reason for it. There isn't.
Do you
Man, a scumbag. He denied that there was any such thing as white privilege and made many comments about the Great Replacement theory, the conspiracy that, you know, certain demographics are being replaced, mostly white people, by brown and black people.
Well,
He said it
there's
wasn't
only,
just a
like,
theory,
4%
but it's a
of
reality.
white people
It's
in the world,
okay
so.
to have a nuanced opinion on this. Someone's opinion on this is nuanced. Things aren't black and white, and we're falling into black and white thinking more and more nowadays. You can't
Well, tell me
summarize
how
your
you're
views on
perceiving it.
Charlie Kirk in a tweet. Although the same people being attacked today for expressing any form of opinion on Charlie Kirk are the very people that he targeted and the very people that would be most at risk under a far-right government. Because this guy was instrumental in getting what most people broadly assume now is a paedophile and rapist into the White House. In fact, as Charlie Kirk was unfortunately facing this incident, not only was there an active shooting taking place on a campus in Colorado, but Trump's government were doing their very best to hide the release of the Epstein files. Kirk died as a consequence of the very gun laws that he defended, and his entire platform relied on radical messaging, authoritarian approaches, the same that cultivates a feeling of fear and panic and suspicion, and the kind that might prompt extremism as a retaliation. Does that mean that he deserved to face what he did? Nobody deserves to face that. But as I said at the beginning, when you cultivate a feeling of fear and panic and paranoia in people, or you target demographics and increase their risk of hate crimes, you're vastly increasing the chances that there will be a retaliation to that language. Nobody is obligated to feel empathy or express empathy. And one of the things that I find the most galling in situations like this is when people pearl clutch and become the morality police and tell the communities impacted by his language and his rhetoric that they must show empathy. That's not how it works.
Dang. Missed it. I'm doing pause. During a debate, Charlie Kirk was asked, if you had a daughter and she was 10 and she got ... was going to give birth, would you want her to go through that and carry her baby? Charlie Kirk's response was no, but the answer is yes, the baby would be delivered. He then explained his position and his ultrasound analogy, arguing that a fetus conceived in grape looks no different on a scan than one conceived in love. Therefore, abortion is still wrong. And that is very true. You would never wish it on somebody to have to go through that. But who are you to stop it? That is the biggest thing.
If it's not meant to be, it won't be.
Yes.
It just won't.
And that's why, they're always using this stupid analogy of, well, what about grape to a young kid? I mean, that kid did not ask to go through it. They did not want, they do not need to have all this stress. Well, no. She should have a family that's very supportive of the situation. that helps her through it, the whole thing. If the kid is incapable of caring for it, either have a family member take it, or it can go into the adoption.
They always talk about they deserve a childhood. They do deserve a childhood. Both of them deserve a childhood.
Yes.
And the thing is, it's too late. I mean, it's already been taken. The innocence has been taken.
Yes, the abortion is not going to fix what happened to that kid. Yes, it will not have to carry the baby, but then the baby gets punished for what wasn't asked to happen. How is that fair?
And I mean, in all honesty, if that happened, like, what's wrong with the plan B? I mean, I guess I'm assuming that it's going to happen in a case where a kid doesn't tell you.
Yeah, that's what I'm assuming is what they mean. Like,
Otherwise-
it's a later abortion.
Otherwise, what's wrong with the plan B?
Yeah.
As soon as this happens, you take it just in case. Or you do as I've been taught to do, and you make the teas and you drink that for a week, and it stops the conception from happening.
Yes. That's exactly right.
His language and his rhetoric, that they must show empathy. That's not how it works. The only way you reduce the risk of this happening again is by ending the culture wars and the hatred. But just watch MAGA capitalize on it.
So I've been gaslit for the past week and a half since Charlie
I
Kirk's
don't know if you have
assassination.
time to
People telling
watch his. Might have to circle back around because I do want to watch some of Charlie's actual stuff tonight.
Yeah, because I'm already at like an hour and 12 minutes, so.
We'll come back to this one.
Okay. Wait, we got who's Jesus?
Are you supposed to be
too.
Jesus? Is that your whole thing? Oh, that's awfully heretical, but okay.
Well, I heard you kept saying my name, so I wanted to show up. You know,
Okay.
I'm busy trying to save the planet from
We do
this
this one?
apocalypse going
Yeah.
on. You know,
Okay.
Jesus H. Christ, but
channel.
you can just call me Josh. All right, why don't you ask me the questions? I'm sure you have plenty of them.
Okay, what's the Hebrew word for father?
Man, you know, let me tell you something. Abba.
I'm sorry?
Abba.
That's the Greek word for father.
Yeah, Greek, you know, whatever. Point I'm trying to say is this,
Yeah,
man.
you don't even make a good Jesus.
Whatever.
What language did Jesus speak?
Aramaic.
Okay, tell me one thing
But
in
you have
Aramaic.
to understand, man, I have to come here to speak to you now. You don't speak Aramaic, otherwise you and me would be speaking Aramaic.
Oh,
I
okay,
have to
right.
speak this kind of dumbed down stuff for
The
you.
enemy has come to lie, steal, cheat, and destroy. What did Jesus say?
I said love your neighbor.
Wrong. The
And
enemy
how
has
is that
come to- hold
working
on.
out, by the way?
enemy has come to lie,
I'm pretty sure
steal.
I said love
hold
your
on a
neighbor,
second. You're not even a good
love
Jesus. It's one of the
God,
most.
and love
It's one of
yourself.
the most popular verses in the Bible. John 10:10. The enemy has
I
come to
didn't
lie,
write the
steal, cheat, and
Bible.
destroy.
Who wrote that thing anyways?
I have
did
come
not
to
write
give
the
life and
Bible.
life more abundantly. Okay, so you don't even know the scriptures and you're pretending to be Jesus, but tell me why you're here.
I am Jesus, and I didn't write the scriptures. I lived them. And the
But you
main
can't
thing
even
I want
remember
to
what
tell
you
you is
said?
this. I said love your neighbor and love everybody. That's
Yeah.
something that you guys really need to figure
Well,
out.
hold on a
And I
second.
know I got some of my fan club
Let's
here.
hold
with
on a
the-
second. Hold
First,
on. What are those two verses?
My name was
Love your
Yeshua. Let's
love
skip
your
it.
neighbor as yourself. Where is that in the Bible?
I don't know. I didn't write it.
Leviticus 19. Hold on.
I didn't write the Bible.
I thought you're Jesus.
I'm
You-
Jesus.
You know
it's
the Torah,
about
right?
me, not by me.
Hold on a
Look,
second.
The point is this, my
Hold on.
friend.
Jesus,
I said love
Jesus
your
was a-
neighbor and love
you're
everybody. I don't
backpedaling
know.
so fast because you don't even know the
I'm
Torah as
saying
a
the
pretend
same
Jesus.
thing I was saying
Hold
the
on a
first
second.
time.
Love-
You see, nobody believed me the first time I was here, and then you fucking crucified me. I was trying to say this, man. Love everybody. Love your neighbor. Stop killing
But you don't
everybody.
even know
and
the verse.
Genocides are bad. How about that? You
Yeah,
want to put that in the Bible? You can add that
I
as
agree.
well.
So, okay, so you want to
stop
talk about
killing people who are just sitting there. That would be probably
are you,
a good
trying
idea.
to connect with Israel Hamas? Is that your thing?
Pretty
or-
much the whole world at this point. We got a lot of issues. Kendrick, Drake, and what else is going on around here? Look,
Okay,
I
so
will
wait,
say
hold on.
this: they
But-
not like us, and this is pretty obvious. But I will. Look, the point I'm trying to make to you. What was your name again? Charlie? Chadley?
I thought you're Jesus. You know everything,
Chadwick?
man.
No, man, I'm too busy. I got an actual job to
Oh
do.
yeah, so you believe in a
Like,
God
if
who's
I-
too
if-
busy,
if-
not
if I were
not an
like you, I'd be able to
omnipotent,
kind of
omniscient
sit
God, yeah.
here, you know, pretend that
You're the
important.
worst Jesus
But
I've ever seen.
I'm the
like-
only Jesus, and I will
You're
say
the
this:
only Jesus,
I am
right.
the only one. Matter of fact, and I live in all of you, and thank you for making time for me. By the way, it's been a while. Look, I would say this: if you really are a fan of mine and you're in my fan club, just be a nicer person, man.
Well,
Just
where does it say to be nice in the Bible?
It's pretty much all over
No,
there.
hold on, name
That was kind of
what
the
does the
point.
word nice mean in Latin?
The point I was trying to
It means
make
ignoramus. Where
is
does
to
it say?
love,
Wait, in the
love,
can you tell me the 10
amor.
Commandments?
How about
Let's go for the
amor?
10 Commandments. Want to do it together? Since you're Jesus, let's go.
Right.
What are they?
Don't be an asshole. Number one.
Okay, hold on.
How about number 1 through 10? Don't be an asshole.
Wait,
That'll
hold
be
on.
a great
Actually,
one.
that's not one of the 10
pretty much
commandments.
summed it up.
I am the Lord that you delivered you from Egypt. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall have no other graven images. You shall never take the Lord's name in vain. You shall honor your mother and father, so may live long in the land in which you are in. You shall honor the Sabbath day and keep it holy. You shall not murder. You shall not steal. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife. You shall not give your neighbor's covet your neighbor's house.
We got a sinner go over here. 1, 2, and 3. We got a
you
sinner
don't like
soul.
the Decalogue because you don't know the
Give it
Decalogue.
up for the sinner, everybody. Give it up for the sinner, everybody. Good job.
Thank you for you are the worst Jesus. You don't know the 10 commandments. You don't know anything. So thank you very much.
Okay, but you're a Christian, but you don't love people.
No,
so I don't think you're doing the job.
Hold on a second. I love all people. What do you think about the 1 million abortions that happen every single year in this country? Is that a genocide to you?
No, what's a genocide is what's going on in Palestine right now.
Hold on. Don't backpedal. You're the king of the world.
I'm not backpedaling. I'm right here in front of you.
Let's just have moral clarity. Do you think 1 million abortions a year is a genocide?
Let me ask you this. Do you think 15,000 children is a genocide?
No, it's not even close. It's a tragedy.
Oh,
it's not a genocide.
Even close.
Hold on. Let's get our.
I think this guy doesn't know what a genocide is. What do you guys think?
A genocide is an intentional killing of people to exterminate them.
That sounds about right.
Okay, so
sounds like what's going on in Palestine right now.
You mean it's an active war that Gaza started?
No, that's a genocide.
Let's take a step back.
Let's look at the apartheid that's been going on there since the 1940s.
How did this
before
war
that was
start?
Zionism, which is a form of European settler colonialism, which I'm sure you're a big fan of.
How did this war start?
How did this war start?
Yes.
Well, do you want to take it all the way back to the early 1900s?
No. On October 6th,
we might as well take it back. Tell you what, I was there for a lot of wars. You know, when I was around, there was a war going on.
This is like the highest blasphemy for somebody that gets called Jesus, and myself too. But it's like this guy to come out and say this stuff, and it's, Charlie's dead on this. It's like, what about abortions? Isn't that
a literal genocide?
A genocide.
A literal genocide.
Yes, I mean, so many, and like you said, you just need to love thy neighbor. Okay, thy neighbor, as the abolitionist says, the kid that was aborted would have been your neighbor. Right. What about that? For these people that, my body, my choice, and no, it's not.
No.
A baby is not a parasite.
No.
Because the baby actually helps in the womb.
It's a symbiotic relationship, and it lasts past birth.
Yes.
So, like, there's cells in my body still from the 2 children that I've had that's still working to help, like, repair stuff and keep it healthy and good and everything.
So that you can be at the top.
Exactly, so that it can be a better caretaker and everything.
Yes.
That's nature. That's the
epitome
of design.
That's the miraculousness of what they would call Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just it. These people
truth.
want to go on and on about all this.
Yeah, and like I said, it's like this guy is like doing some sort of comedy routine, and it's just tasteless, and it's tactless, and it's just, I don't know, it's gross, but he's not really there to actually have any kind of conversation. He's just doing a bit.
Because, I mean, if you're going to do this, at least know some of the Bible verses.
Yeah, it's so blasphemous. It's like, it's such a freaking... it's really...
absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, no, thank you.
On October 6th,
matter of fact, when I was around, there was an occupation going on. Do you know who was occupying my home when I was around the first time?
You mean like
the Romans?
The shoddy Seattle's apartment that you grew up in when you played Jesus on the afternoon?
The Romans? You know the Romans are, right? The people you wish you were descended from, but you're really not?
Okay, not even sure what you mean by that. I'm asking you a question. On October 6th, was Israel actively at war with Hamas?
On this day right now, what is going on in Rafah?
Hold on, just answer the question, man.
Why don't you answer that question?
I'm happy to. Israel is rightfully invading Rafah to go kill every last...
How is it rightfully?
Hold on, because I'm getting there. You have to answer the question. On October 6th, was Israel at war with Hamas?
I'm asking you a question. What's going on right now in Palestine?
I've answered the question. First of all,
no, I don't think you answered it correctly.
Not in Palestine, in Gaza, which is a strip south of Israel. Israel is rightfully invading Rafah to kill every last Hamas terrorist. Why? Because
that's not rightful when you kill a bunch of children.
You're not answering the question, so I'll answer it for you. You know what happened on October 7th? A dress rehearsal to Holocaust 2.0 is what happened on October 7th.
Land. And what happened before
hold on,
that?
No,
what
stop
happened on October 6th?
And stop trying to
what
justify.
Happened on October 6th?
On October 6th, nothing happened.
Oh, really?
You know what happened? It was the day before one of the most holy days on the Jewish calendar.
What happened?
I'm sorry. You're right. Something
Jerusalem
did happen
on
on October 6th. You know what October 6th happened? All the Arab terrorists were getting ready to go kill babies and women in Israel to go invade rock concerts, kibbutzes, and nurseries
And where are they? Right? Where
and
are
go
those
slit
where are
little
those,
babies' throats.
Where are those Arab babies now?
Well, I'm sorry, Arab babies?
Yeah,
You mean the
where
Jewish
are they
babies?
at now? No, I'm talking about the Arab ones now.
Well, hold on. You're talking about
how many of them
civilians
died?
that
How
have...
many of them died and are dying right
you
now?
mean civilians
while you're
that
sitting
have
there with your microphone on?
They brought it upon themselves, man.
I don't think so, and that's not something I support.
Well, hold
so
on.
I will say this in closing, because this guy is a buffoon and definitely not a fan of mine or has represent anything of mine. I will say this:
he doesn't even know the Ten
point
Commandments.
I'm trying to say is to love everybody. That's it. Just stop killing everybody. Love everybody. Maybe you and me can get a kosher hot dog after this. I think it would be great.
What is
love your neighbor and they not like us. That's all I got to say.
Love your neighbor as yourself. Leviticus 19, Deuteronomy 3-5. Hero Israel, I am the Lord your God. Love the Lord your God with their heart, soul, strength, and mind. He's Jesus, but not a very good one. Okay, let's get on up here. Who wants to come next? Yes. It's funny. These guys pretend to be Jesus walking around. They don't even know the Bible. It's hilarious. Yes.
Hello. Oh.
All right, as we have seen, I mean, to watch Charlie so brilliantly being able to speak the commandments, to be able to say all of that. I mean, he was very detailed within his religion that he believed within. And, you know, or the family and the morals that he held. He was brilliant with that.
I can totally see why some people would be off-put and say that, you know, and kind of bristle, because it does seem like he's a little bit cold and calloused about some things, but it's just factual. You know, it's like he's getting to the task of, that is not a genocide. It's an atrocity, but it's not a genocide by any stretch of the means. You know, this over here is warranting compassion as well, but you're not giving compassion for that.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like I can see why some people would be kind of like off-put by it, but you've got to get a thicker skin and be able to see past that surface level.
Exactly.
To the facts.
But see, that's the problem. Is these colleges have turned kids into such pansies
they're really soft.
that it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the colleges right now that are causing these issues.
Absolutely.
You know, people are better within trade schools than you are going to an actual college right now. And I mean, that's something that even Charlie brought up.
Yeah, many times.
He dropped out because he saw it.
Yeah.
And it's like that. It's a sad thing to think about, but it's true. We need to stop these colleges from brainwashing kids. And it's like from the left side, I heard something about there were so many kids that were pulled, and it's like so many from the left thought it was okay to silence a voice with killing.
Yeah. That's weird. You know, like, you guys want free speech. You say that the right is squashing your right to free speech. A right-wing activist is using his free speech, and a left-wing nutjob shoots him.
Yeah.
You know, or hell, I don't even care. A right-wing nutjob kills him, and they think that's great.
Yeah.
You know, like, fuck around and find out. Yeah, I knew that was coming. You know, that's like, wow, the disconnection. But they want to say that he lacked compassion.
I know. He brought facts, he brought knowledge, and he brought brilliance to what he did.
If anything, he got people thinking and got people talking.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that was the whole freaking point. And, like,
And they silence it.
Ugly.
They silence it. That's just
Everything is
it.
so ugly now.
Yeah.
You know?
It is.
Be respectful, guys. He can do what he wants.
Oh, can I start now? Oh. Nice to meet you, Charlie. I'm a big fan. I think you're a very beautiful man. I admire you physically. But no homo. I did have a question. Something I don't find very interesting about you, something I find kind of repulsive, is that I believe you said that the Civil Rights Act was bad and that we shouldn't have that.
Okay. Well,
Thank you. I appreciate that. I don't like you as much as Charlie, though.
First of all, what's your name?
Sorry. I don't want to be like filmed and stuff.
Too late.
I'm anonymous, number one. Anonymous guy.
Okay. Well, hello. Nice to meet you, anonymous guy.
Thank you. Thank you. Nice to meet you too.
Yeah. I believe in part of the essence of the Civil Rights Act went way too far, way too wide.
Oh, how did it go too far?
Well, for example, it created an entire civil rights leviathan that gave us affirmative action.
Civil rights leviathan? What do you mean?
Yeah. So if you can let me finish three words in.
Sorry.
It allowed the Department of Justice to go after people that have different skin color, aka white people, and prevent them from getting jobs in college admissions.
You have a job.
I'm sorry?
You have a job.
No, you're right. I do. Right. But just until Trump came around, until the Supreme Court decision, thanks to the Civil Rights Act, if you have white skin color, it's much harder to get into a college than if someone has black skin color. Much harder. You have to get higher test scores. It's a much harder pool, largely thanks to the precedent set by the Civil Rights Act. Not to mention.
Okay.
So when my mother was in college going for nursing, right? She was a 4-year to become an RN, right? She applied for cash aid. And she had the same schedule, the exact same class that one of her classmates happened to be taking. Exact same situation.
Yes.
And this other classmate happened to be black. And my mother got like $28 a month, where the black lady got over to like $300 or $400 a month.
It's very typical because, like you said, with Steve, the guy I work for, he ended up having or seeing this happen firsthand, where a Mexican fellow was able to get a vehicle, but somebody that was making a lot more money and well more established white guy was not able to.
Yeah. So there are definitely examples, real life examples of exactly what Charlie Kirk is talking about happening. Like,
yeah, it happens everywhere.
No joke, and it's like,
they
have black only colleges.
They do, yes.
They have black only scholarships. They have Hispanic only scholarships and Hispanic only spaces and everything. But goddamn, if you say you want a white only space, all hell breaks loose.
It does.
Then you were a racist, and then you are a bigot, and then you should be shot.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And it's like, I don't even know. That's exactly how it is. There's so many examples, so much.
DEI, affirmative action.
Yeah, the affirmative action is taken over by far.
That was the problem when he's talking about the civil rights.
Yes.
Yeah, civil rights was great, just like feminism. First wave, maybe second wave, to bring everybody equally, so everybody is all the same under the umbrella of the law. Sure. But then, like with feminism, now women, it's not good enough to be as equal as men. Now we have to be better.
I know.
We have to be chosen first. We have to be more. And it's exactly the same thing with race.
Okay. You want an example of that? The one that we just saw today, Pink.
She's stupid too. Okay, this is the second time that she's done something incredibly stupid. The first time was the books being banned, and realizes that they weren't even banned in the place in Florida that she was talking about, but they were banned in California, where she's talking about, where she's coming from. And then to say that President Trump flew a flag at half-mast for some white supremacist, but not for the school shooting children. That was the first thing that I heard after the school shooting, the Catholic school shooting, was that he was flying the flags at half-mast for the rest of the day and the next day.
Yeah.
He did that.
He did it all.
That is stupid. I'm sorry. That is like a total lack of intelligence. That is pure ignorance, because she said it.
She did.
And didn't even look into it. But I remember very distinctly seeing that President Trump had done that for the school shootings.
Yes.
Mention all the trans stuff that we're seeing. We're seeing men be able to win trophies and medals from women across the country, and they use the Civil Rights Act to justify it.
Okay, I think I see where you're coming from. So you think that it's harder for white people because of black people, they could have lower tech scores again? And
it's not what I think. It's the fact.
That's what you're saying. Okay. All right. Well, I guess what I would say too, I think perhaps you're familiar with the term equity, right? Where different people have different circumstances.
It's
which
Marxism.
leads to different
I reject.
okay.
Okay.
Well, whether you reject it or not, I think it's a prescient concept in this argument, because what you have to understand is that when you're, for example, you're born in like a black neighborhood, you're born in like O Block or something, like a very like a. Oh, you don't know what O Block is? Oh, well, if you're born there, if you're born in a very poor area like that, with like very low economic opportunity, very poor school.
Just wanted to say, hey, Robert, and yes, it is very ironic.
Schools are very low ratings, where the average test score is much lower. When you're in that environment, you have the whole system up against you, right? So when you say in that kind of circumstance, when you're facing the whole, I guess, leviathan of systemic racism, so would you say that? Sorry, let me just finish. When you say it's fair to, for example, lower the standard because knowing that their circumstances were like that, perhaps based on what they had, what was presented to them, they had the correct amount of merit to get into a school.
Okay, so are you a student here? I'm guessing you are.
Oh, yeah, I'm a student here.
Are you a pretty good student?
Oh, yeah, I would say I'm a good student. I have a pretty high GPA.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you give your GPA to her because she's a woman of color, please?
Oh, well, you want me to give you a? Well, I mean, I can.
Would you be willing to do that?
Yeah, sure.
Sure. You'd be good. You cool with that?
Yeah,
So,
I'm fine. Wait, you mean
I want you.
like tell her or like
no,
give it to her?
by force.
Like
So
we're swapping it.
Let me tell you what I'm going to
Okay.
do. By force, white man.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm going to take your GPA. I'm going to give it to a woman of color.
Okay.
You're cool with that?
I mean, yeah, I can just work back up. Like,
there's no working
Hey,
back
bro,
up.
I can pull myself up by my bootstraps.
No,
What do
there's
you
no
mean?
working back up.
What do you mean you can't work back
you're
up? That's the
only-
whole point of
No,
conservatism,
I'm
isn't
gonna,
it?
I'm gonna keep on taking it from you because that's equity, and you're cool with that.
What? But that's not.
This is equity in practice.
Equity isn't taking. Equity is giving, applying the equal standard.
If you give, how do you get? You must take, and then you give.
Wait, what do you mean?
That which is given must first be taken.
Well, what's being taken?
Well, in this case, grades from you to grades
But
to her.
That's no one's taking my grades though. That's not what. That's
Well,
not what affirmative
it's
action
called-
is.
well, hold on a
No
second.
one takes your grades.
Hold on a second. If you
Yeah,
only have
yeah,
so many, you only have so many positions at University of South Florida to come in, right? There's a set number. Let's say it's 20,000 people, okay? And we're gonna say we're gonna lower the test standards so that somebody that's a woman of color can come in, and therefore it's harder for you. So it's a higher bar for you, lower bar for them. Definitionally, that's a redistribution of test scores to somebody else, just by the definition. And you're okay with that?
Well, I guess I would ask then, if we were to do what you're doing, I guess that's what's happening under Trump, right?
Well, no, it's actually been happening the last 40 years.
Okay, actually, yeah, whatever. Okay, so when you say that, if you do that, then, well, black people aren't going to get into school, and then they won't be able to uplift themselves. They won't be able to have prosperous families. They won't be able to, equalize the economic status, because you need to give them a little jump start. You know what? You have a car, right?
How is that? How is that? Well, no, now I know who you are.
No, it's good.
But no, how has that worked the last 40 years? We've had robust affirmative action.
No.
We've had hiring practices. Has it made Black America more successful?
I can answer that easily. It's because sorry. It's because sorry. What am I going for? Oh,
I don't know.
You're a funny guy. So what happened is, even after the Civil Rights Act, you know what I believe the term is massive resistance. It was a movement in after the Brown versus Board of Education in Virginia, where essentially the legislature, which was still white supremacist, which is still extremely racist, they decided that no, we're going to do everything that feasibly possible within our means to stop black people from going to white schools. You even see this in I believe it was the Little Rock Nine, right? Even after it was legalized at the state level, white supremacist mobs still mobilized to prevent it. So even if it de facto it's gone, de jure it still exists.
Let me ask you a very simple question.
Yeah,
a term you keep on throwing around.
Got you.
What is racism?
What is racism? Ooh, that's a very complicated question. But
no, it's not.
I mean, there's a simple answer, and then there's the highly theoretical answer.
Give me the simple.
The simple answer will essentially be because we have like different skin colors, that he's treated a different way than me. He has like a different upbringing than me.
No. But what is
He's subjected to
racism in practice?
It's discrimination
Based on the color of skin.
Based on the color of the skin. Yeah.
Got it. Thank you. So isn't it racist then to penalize white people to come into college or to get jobs based on the color of their skin?
Well, no.
Wouldn't that be racist? You're arguing for a very racist policy, which is that we should actively discriminate against people based on the color of their skin, which is affirmative action and DEI in practice.
I just disagree with the premise that you can do like anti-white racism because
wait, can you be racist against white people?
No, bro, I'm a cracker, bro. What the no, you can't be racist towards white. Bro, there's so many crackers here, bro. There's your clip, bro. There's your clip. Well, what are you gonna do political violence to me, bro? Like, why are you saying that to me? You're making me scared. Okay.
So let me tell you what we believe, because you tell us what you believe.
Okay.
Your worldview is indistinguishable from the KKK. That you want to organize the world based on skin color. We want to organize the world based on merit and character, based on how hard you work, what you bring to the table. I believe it's destructive and wrong to say that people are going to be organized or have their future set based on the color of their skin. I think it's tribalistic. I think it is divisive, and I think it hurts the excellence of a country. You asked a question, well, how are we going to help other communities? You know how you help other communities? Stop pandering to them and start treating them like individuals made in the image of God, not tribes to be organized for political purposes.
Okay, so do you think, like, when Trump is now he's president, now that racism is gone now because Trump is back, we're no longer pandering, right? Do you think that the conditions of black people, do you think O Block is going to become like a much nicer place? Do you think that these very downturned sort of black neighborhoods that have been sort of left behind, do you think they're going to become revitalized now? Is that what you think is going to happen?
Yeah, they'll do better for sure.
You think they're going to do better? Now that we've stopped helping them, they're going to do better.
Well, see, that's an interesting thing.
Because that seems like contradictory to me, just on basic logic.
Well, actually, black Americans under Donald Trump in the first term saw the greatest economic renaissance that they saw since the 1950s.
You don't think that's due to
wage
Obama,
increases, lowest unemployment, revitalization, amazing investment in their communities, opportunity zones.
But that's when we had affirmative action. So wouldn't that be bad?
Well, again, we actually got rid of affirmative action now.
But
It's going to do even better.
But I'm talking about before.
Those are unrelated things, though. Just to be perfectly clear.
They don't seem unrelated to me.
Well, affirmative action
is addressing racism. They
affirmative action is again.
So I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you.
No, you are. That's okay.
I'm sorry.
Affirmative action is largely federal government hiring practices and the adjacent institutions. I think that all communities will do even better when we stop living under the soft bigotry of low expectations. Inherent in your argument is that we have to pander to certain communities based on the color of their skin because they can't do as well as white people. I reject the premise. I think that we should try to say, I don't care about the color of your skin. I care about what you bring to the table. And stop pandering to people based on special criteria, points, and acceptance to college, saying that we're going to make it easier for one group and harder for another group.
I don't think it's pandering, though. I think it's understanding.
Okay, but let me.
Understanding
do you think that
circumstances and working based on that?
Do you think that we should have black-only dormitories in America?
No, why would I want that?
Okay, well, there's hundreds of schools that have those actually.
What do you mean black only? Like they're not. White people are not allowed in.
No, white people are not allowed.
White people, yeah, that's why I said white people are not allowed.
Correct. We have black-only graduation ceremonies across the country.
Well, those are from well, I believe those are most likely like HBCUs, right?
No, like the University of Michigan has one, Yale has one, Harvard has one. So we're agreeing that is wrong. That is the furthest extension of hyper race obsession. So you could choose one or the other. You can be race obsessed or merit obsessed. We as conservatives decide to be merit obsessed, to build a country based on how hard you work and what you're able to deliver.
Hi, my name's Erin. I'm a really big fan and I'm really excited to see both of you.
All right, everyone can still hear me, and I know that we still got the mic going, so I'm just letting y'all know we're going to go over a little bit of, this is a full-on Q&A thing that he did. So we're going to just go through as much of it as we can get through within the time that I have.
I think it's the best of, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's best of. But it's full-on stuff. It's not edited, really, so that we can see.
But even that one, he was literally talking about anti-racism.
Yeah.
Like the exact opposite of what they're trying to say.
And he agreed with that kid. He said, listen, he's like, so we both can agree that it's not good to have black only.
Right, you're segregating people, and again, you're choosing people based on their appearance or where they come from instead of like the merit and their skills.
That's exactly right. So I mean, the DEI has been at work for a while. They've been able.
Affirmative action.
Yeah, but they've been able to really put it in the last 5 years.
4.
Yeah, 4.
Because this was the first year they got rid of it, so it was 4 years prior to that.
So about 5 years, yeah.
Yeah, but we don't have it anymore.
No, we don't.
Like the DEA programs. Remember when
Yeah.
Trump sent the thing?
Yeah, we got rid of all that now.
Like, I
we
mean,
we don't. So yeah, it was 4
right
years
away.
before.
That was crazy.
Yes.
That was swift. That was hard.
That was good.
I wonder if we should revisit that because I wonder if anybody like got completely like screwed out of their jobs or if they found other places for them to work or.
Yeah, well, I'll check out some stuff. We'll find out and
Kind
see.
of like want to know what the aftermath of dismantling DEI is.
Yes, I do too.
I'm a little stressed because I feel like I could ask about, gun violence. I could ask about anti-Semitism on campus. But I feel like with an opportunity like this, I would really appreciate some personal advice. I'm here at the University of Pittsburgh as a social work major, and I'm really passionate about it. However, I have found that I'm leaning a little bit more Republican, and I feel like I come at a standstill with that. And I really just want to get your advice moving forward for myself. There's some obvious things I think you can think that would conflict, obviously. I guess that's kind of my question. What advice do you have for me as a Republican aspiring social worker?
What would conflict?
I don't know, like how to say it properly.
I think I can help. The social work industry is very much about a perspective generally of that people in poverty are there permanently and not trying to break people out of poverty into the middle class or higher levels.
Right.
And that's why the Democrat Party and social work are very intertwined.
Right, exactly.
They view poverty not as a series of choices, but as a station in life that is immovable largely.
Right.
Is that fair to say?
That is fair to say. That's why my personal focus is on the children in underprivileged communities, because I personally feel like they don't choose to be put in that position. But I'm having a little bit of a difficult time empathizing with the older generation of underprivileged, and not in every community, but I don't know how to not sound bad. I know you are great at not sounding bad when you say stuff, but I don't want to say something that'll get me in trouble.
Well, here's one way to look at it. And Charlie, that was helpful, actually. The Great Society from Lyndon Johnson. It was a series of policies that were designed to help underprivileged communities.
Right.
They hurt the very people they were supposed to help.
How?
Well, the reality is it created dependence on government. So you have a lot of single mothers, for example, that are paid more money not to have a man in the house than to have a man in the house because of the way the math of these aid programs
What do you
work.
mean?
Well, often the way the math of the aid is calculated is if you have an earning husband in the household, that actually causes you to disqualify for forms of federal aid that were designed to help you.
Right.
But actually, the best way to get kids in your own household ahead is in a two-parent household, because if you're raised in a two-parent household, you're less likely to end up in jail, less likely to end up in poverty, more likely to graduate from high school. So one of the ways that, if you're asking for advice, I would say for the people around you.
And okay, yes, I wanted to answer you into that. Yes, one of the biggest things is to keep the two-parent household. Two parents is vital for most kids. I mean, you and I both came from wrecked homes, from those problems.
It's been a source of contention all the way through. We managed
Yes.
it better now, but it still comes through.
It does, yes. And it's like, that is a big problem. It's like, yeah, well, you don't want to stay together with somebody that was a problem. You don't want to, drag yourself down. Okay, but there are ways to work through it where both of you come out on top and so do the kids.
Right. Like, hold on. Let's see right here. Yeah, otherwise we're not gonna let me. So, I lost my train of thought.
It's all right.
I lost it.
Okay. But yeah, that's the biggest thing with it, though, with the two-parent household. You do not want the government interfering and wrecking that.
Yeah,
Because, like he said,
Oh,
go ahead.
okay. So you get lots of complaints that I see on these women's sites and everything. It's like, oh my God, I do everything, and he goes to work and then he comes home and acts like he doesn't have to do anything, and it's like, I feel he says to shut up because I'm nagging him, and I'm like, it's a very common thing. And it was the same thing that my mother used to complain about and everything too. So I tend to think it's like that is just blatantly a lack of communication. And like, are you really incentivizing him to do what you need of him? Are you really asking? Are you really making yourself known without constantly bickering and bitching? If you don't change that tone, it's going to be like swept away.
Yes, it is.
So it seems like such a little thing to me when they say this kind of crap, because it's like, so if he wasn't there, then what are you gonna do for like a big bulk of your money and everything, and you're still gonna be doing stuff on your own. So like, do you not see the trade-off at all? You know.
Exactly. That is it.
And if you're not making yourself known and making it very clear, then nobody's gonna change. He's not gonna have the incentive to change her.
Yeah.
You know? Like, not nagging, but like making it clear what you need. And
Yes.
And why. You know, and being able to back up, well, I do this, 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 and this, and I understand that you do that and that, but I need, you need to participate in the raising of your children and the cleaning of the household that you live in as well.
Exactly. Yes.
It seems like such a small thing, and they're getting fucking divorces over it.
They are. Yeah.
Calling it irreconcilable differences, and it's like some of them have only been married for like 5 or 6 years. I'm like, you haven't even gotten into it yet.
No. No, I mean ours is going on 20 years, yeah. And I mean we've been through up, down, left, right, every which way.
Even who might lean left, you can recognize their intentions come from a good place.
Absolutely.
But the policies of their leaders have actually betrayed the very people they were supposed to help. And you can let them know, because I believe this is genuinely true. Not just the Republican Party, but our conservative movement. We care about lifting people up from poverty. We just care about actually doing it rather than talking about it. That's
And
what I would say.
the other thing I'll say is that we as conservatives believe that if you're in poverty, it's largely because of values, not because of lack of stuff.
Like what values?
Not saving money, spending all of your money in your paycheck as you get it, for example. Abandoning your spouse after impregnating you. Not spending all of your money on alcohol and drugs and instead opening a 401k. So values are the number one predictor of entering the middle class. And there's a great book called Life at the Bottom. You should read it, by Theodore Dalrymple, who's a social worker in the United Kingdom. It's called Life at the Bottom, where he got into social work because he wanted to help people. And he realized it was not a lack of stuff. It wasn't lack of housing, lack of food stamps. It was that their value system was one that kept them poor. So yeah, really quick, then I want to get to the next question.
I'm just struggling because in all of my social work classes right now, they're talking about all of those things. And
they're wrong.
So what do I do? I'm trying to learn about what I want to do.
I think you need to stay in social work because you're called to do it. But there's an amazing amount of literature from Thomas Sowell to Shelby Steele to Theodore Dalrymple that get down to actual root causes of poverty, which is not lack of stuff, but is worldview. And I think that'd be super helpful.
Thank you so much.
God bless you.
Trump 2024.
Yes, that you want a hat? Yes, great. Thank you. According to the way that the asylum laws are written, the entire nation of Mexico applies under asylum. Do you think that you have a right to immigrate to America? Is diversity and inclusion really an American ideal?
I knew you
Are
were-
you okay with deporting every illegal person that's here? Do you think that the American government should first have an obligation to citizens before foreigners? Nobody is asking these questions. We're just saying, if you want to come in, you can come in. Do you see anything wrong with, I don't know, taking in 5% of the population of Haiti? If someone comes into your dorm room uninvited and they do the dishes and laundry, they can stay?
If I'm not going to do my own dishes, heck yeah. Hi. All right.
Hello.
Oh, hi. I'm going to start off by saying I'm a political science student. I'm a second year here at K-State. And I'm a first generation student.
Try to turn it up a
little bit.
Yeah, perfect. Great. Thank you. And what's your name again?
Alondra.
Nice.
Alvarez. Yeah. So I just had a question because you talk a lot about like protecting and securing our southern borders. But as the granddaughter of immigrants, I think that we get into a lot of complicated disputes with the idea that immigrants are criminals or drug dealers and things like that. So I just want to hear what your opinion is on those expectations or those what do you call it? Those stereotypes that are put on Hispanic communities, Latino communities, and how they change the way people perceive immigration?
Sure. So, thank you for the question. So you said you're the first generation
Yes, I
student
am.
or first generation American?
I'm a first generation student.
Cool, great. Second generation American? Did I hear that right? Or-
Third generation
Cool.
American on my mom's side.
Great.
Second on my dad's.
When your grandparents, then, is that right, came
Yes.
to this country, did they do so through the legal process that was in front of them?
So my father got married to my mother, so he's a legal resident of the United States. She's been here her entire life.
But did she enter legally?
She did. She's born here. Yeah.
Got it.
My grandpa on my dad's side entered in illegally.
Okay. So I'm not here to like insult your grandpa, right? But we must be very clear that the type of immigration that we support is when you follow our rules and you come on our terms, and that you do not break into a country uninvited and you try to cut.
Can I add something to that? The reason why he left, and a lot of people in Mexico do, is because of the political state, especially in the 70s and 80s, when they decided to move. They have a government that isn't supportive of their constituents, and because of drug problems, their only choice was to move.
Yeah, I totally sympathize. That's not true. It's never the only choice to commit a crime, and we should not put up with it. And so it is an insult to other immigrants from Vietnam and Laos and Pakistan that have to wait decades in line to morally equivalate people that come in and just break in. Oh, I have an unstable country. Like half of the world's countries are unstable.
Yeah, but that's why we have the asylum seekers program,
which is heavily abused. And we're talking two different things. Asylum seekers and walking into the country illegally are similar but different things, right? And so we have millions of gotaways of people that we have no idea who they are. They're not declaring asylum. They just run across the border.
Well, because they can't. The system doesn't allow other people from Mexico specifically to assign themselves
to who they are the last couple of years. So look, we just have to be very clear with this, is that if you come into the country uninvited, you have committed a crime and you are a criminal. And we could decide that we're not laws, or we can say that when you are a criminal, you should then be punished for that crime, aka sent back to your country of origin, because you were not invited. And it is an insult, again, to the Poles and to the Czechoslovakians and from the Senegalese and people all across the world that don't have the proximity or the luxury just to waltz into America.
You call it a luxury to leave a country that has political tyranny and come into a country with opportunity?
Yes, to live in Mexico, to be able to go 100 miles north and break into America. Do you know how many people in Pakistan would kill to be on that border?
That's why we bring them in.
Well, we shouldn't, right? That's the point. And secondly, do you think that you have a right to immigrate to America?
I think that I didn't have a choice. My grandparents made that decision for me.
I'm not trying to attack your grandparents, but no one has a right to go to anybody else's country. You are invited. It is a privilege, not a right, to come into America.
So it's a privilege to live a life that requires you to have clean water, clean food, clean air.
Yes, of course it is.
And you have to fight for that?
Yes, it is not.
But we didn't?
Hold on a sec. Well,
born here, we didn't fight for that?
Well, my ancestors did fight for that, actually, and I'm a very thankful recipient of many generations of Americans that fought for the greatest nation ever to exist.
By doing what? Coming here?
Well,
illegally?
Wait, what did my ancestors do? They
came here illegally.
They came over here in 1620, fought in the Revolutionary War, fought in the Civil War, fought in World War I.
So because my grandpa didn't come here in 1620, it gives him no right to have a good life?
No, he can fill out paperwork and wait in line like the rest of the world. And then we can see whether or not it's in our best interest to allow him to come in. And so we have to weigh costs.
Okay.
So you have to reiterate this because if it can't be heard, then
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a difference between immigrants and settlers.
Yes, immigrants and settlers. There's a difference. Yes.
Yes, and so they always seem to get this conflicted. They're like, okay, well, you're an illegal immigrant too. Your ancestors were illegal immigrants. That's not true because the difference is it's like settlers come and they build the infrastructure,
Yes.
they build the world, they contribute to it, and then the immigrants come to settle something that's already established.
Exactly.
And basically, they just take from it.
Yes, there was like the Irish, a lot of the Irish and stuff. They came over, and they set this nation up to be what it is.
Exactly.
They helped be it, and I mean they were treated like shit.
Bad, like really bad, like.
and then you have a lot of the Mexicans that just walk over, and they're like, okay, well, we're gonna take your health care, we're gonna take your free money, your handouts, and we're just gonna go sit over here.
Apparently, it's not even just the Hispanics.
Yeah.
You know, we got Haitians that have been here for like 30 years.
Exactly.
Now, you know,
Who can't even drive.
We've got Hezbollah people trying to sneak their ass.
Yes.
You know.
And I wasn't trying to just say it was the Mexicans, but that's where they're coming from.
But my point is, it's like most of the rest of the world is interested in coming here for whatever reason.
Yes.
And it's already established, and they're not contributing. I would say that a lot of the illegal Hispanics actually do contribute a lot behind the scenes here in California, because, like I said, the racetrack would not be able to operate if it wasn't for the cheap labor and shit. So they do contribute, but like it isn't to the same degree that like you're talking about with the Irish or the original English settlers or any of those that actually built the infrastructure that we still use today.
Yes.
You know,
instead
of just taking.
I don't think necessarily that that's true. If they did not have the help, like the racetrack, the fields, if they didn't have the people just coming and taking the jobs and offering very, very cheap labor, they would just be forced to redesign and become up to what it's supposed, not necessarily what it's supposed to be.
I don't know.
But
I honestly don't know. That would be a hell of a lot to ask for them because they are incredibly racist. And it's like the amount of money that they save. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think they could do it. They might have to downsize.
Yeah.
You know.
They might have to become something more. They might have to put casinos in. They might have to.
But then it's like the whole character of the whole fucking shit suffers.
Well, I mean, it already went. I mean, you saw it yourself.
Yeah. Like, it's not the same. And
No.
they did put casinos in. I think they did put a casino in there finally, and it was like that was the one place left in California that didn't have one. And, that's the whole reason that Hollywood Park went so up, is because of
The casino.
well, the casino and the fact that they got kind of like, they were more scrutinized than the little cow track I was at. Let's put it that way. So they had to have more legitimate people on the books and stuff. And it didn't work.
No.
And that was something that was like a staple in Hollywood for like since the golden era, like 1930s.
Horse racing also hit a point where the groups were overthrowing them. PETA.
Yeah. Right.
All those groups were showing the abuse that was going on. And therefore, it took them down that way, too.
Yeah, and people just don't have an interest in, like, the traditional classics anymore. It's not entirely people's fault because the racing industry did take the heart out of it. It all became about money. There was, like, no big hero stories anymore, or like a horse that everybody in the nation knew that they could rally behind because he was the underdog. There was none of that anymore.
No.
It just became about the money, and so therefore, like this new generation of like Gen Zers, they're like, I don't care about the money, I don't care about that, and so they fell away from it, Like,
I know.
It's just not the same.
And it's like, but I still stand behind with the fields. We're allowing for a whole industry to abuse.
I thought you meant like the field of racetrack.
No. I meant the fields, like, for picking cotton, for picking.
That is fucked up. That's like what they're doing to those people is fucked up.
It's like, oh well, the immigrants have taken that, and they work for very cheap labor. Well, yeah, they do. That's the problem.
They don't know better.
Yeah.
They're entitled to so much more than that.
They think that they're so happy just to get that when they should be getting minimum wage.
Like 8 times the amount that they get.
Yes. But it's like, again, if that were to be the case, then we'd have a lot more expensive food.
Well, they would just, again, you'd have to downsize. You couldn't have these giant commercial operations. It'd basically be like a community growing for a community.
Yeah.
Like how the Rankins would supply people with beef and stuff. You'd have somebody that would supply vegetables and everything, and it's like...
It's true.
You just couldn't have the monopolies that these people have.
Yeah.
And, that's... Yeah, I get really, really irked about that. So essentially, the Democrats, because they're hiding behind that compassion again, they're advocating for slavery.
They are, yes.
You know,
that's exactly right. It's like, oh, It's like, oh, the blacks are the ones out there picking all the cotton. Well, guess what? You have the Mexicans out there doing it now.
Yes. Yeah, it's the same thing. It's like,
yes.
and you guys are advocating for slave labor. It's like, oh no, don't do that to those poor people. Those poor people are being taken through the freaking ringer because they're making and hate them what they should.
Exactly.
And not getting health care and not having any other kind of benefits.
Yes.
Yeah. Thanks. You know.
We're already at 2 hours, so we'll finish this one up and then
Finish this conversation.
Yeah, this conversation is going on. I don't know how much longer it has, but there's still like, this is the second out of the top 10, so I want to hear his points here, though. Charlie is really good.
And benefits. I'm not saying we should have no immigrants, but immigration must be a net benefit for the American homeland and for the American citizen. We have brought in 10 million people in these last couple of years. We have now brought in 5% of the population of Haiti. Nobody is asking these questions. We're just saying, if you want to come in, you can come in. Do you see anything wrong with, I don't know, taking in 5% of the population of Haiti?
Not necessarily, no. If we have the land and the resources to house them, it shouldn't be that big deal to bring in immigrants.
Really? So do you think that the American government should first have a obligation to citizens before foreigners?
Okay, I think we have an
answer
obligation.
the question. Yeah.
Here's the thing. Yeah, we're obligated because we're citizens to have the rights that we have, but that doesn't mean we can't open up our borders
that's not
and
the
we
question.
have the process
Hold on a second.
to do so.
You, being a younger American, and everyone in the audience, is the first generation in American history to have it be worse off than your parents. So the social, and you agree with that, social contract, poorer, more expensive. Yeah. So wouldn't it be rational for the American government to say, we're going to prioritize younger generation Americans that are American passport holders and citizens before those in another nation?
I don't want to say anything that offends people, but
go
I've already
ahead.
said it, right? I've already said
Yeah.
it. Whatever. I think that the way we're going about it is wrong. And that if we don't have a clear path to citizenship, we won't open up those opportunities for people to come and seek a good life. But I also think that, we are required to have those rights ourselves.
Seeking a
as
good
American
life
citizens.
is fine. It's a nice added benefit. Our government does not exist to improve the life of foreign citizens.
But we should be open to the idea of accepting
Of course we are, if we have our own house in order. We are in chaos right now. We have the most depressed, suicidal, anxious generation in history. Our birth rate is collapsing. Kids can't afford homes. Yeah. You guys are drowning in debt. You have to compete You have to compete for jobs against foreigners. Our country is a mess right now. And so when your country's a mess and your home is in disarray and bedlam, your own government should say, time out. I have a heart for the people of Haiti. I have a heart for the people of every country. But you're not coming here until this generation at least has it as good as their parents.
But it's the stereotype that I'm given as a Mexican American to fulfill those standards that people have on immigration as well.
I don't share that. I haven't said that here today. There's people from all over the world that enter the southern border now. There's 118 countries that come across the southern border. But I don't care if you enter illegally from Bulgaria or from Laos or from Mexico or from Nicaragua. Someone who does not have their paperwork when they come in is by definition breaking federal law.
Yeah,
and so then what should we do with someone who breaks with federal law?
But does that mean that people, including their children, their grandchildren, including myself, have to live with the stereotype or the standard set upon me that I am a criminal, I am a drug dealer, I am a XYZ?
Okay, so I played into that stereotype.
I've heard it many, many times, not from you specifically today.
Okay, but then it's a little bit of a red herring, right? Because we're not even talking about it. I'm not.
Well, my original question was, what do you think about it?
What do I think about stereotypes?
About the stereotype given to immigrants right now and children of immigrants and people of color here.
Well, I can't talk about something I don't believe in. So, I mean, I don't want people to be stereotyped. No different than when you look at a young white man on campus, you think he's a rapist, right? Which is.
I don't.
Well, that's good. No, but that is a stereotype that is pushed sometimes. Like, oh, if you see a young man on campus, it's campus rape culture. Stereotyping is wrong. It should not occur. But we also must understand that the way that we constitute our immigration policy right now in this country is not in the benefit of the American citizen. And we're acting much more like a colony than a country. And where a country is where you have ties that bind you together. You have a shared history, hopefully a shared language. You have a shared culture, where a colony is you come from anywhere across the world, and so be it.
Yeah, but isn't that like the point of America?
Ah,
Diversity and
so-
inclusion and
Hold-
belonging.
Where that's such I'm so glad you brought that up. Where is that in the Constitution or the Declaration that diversity and inclusion, these are false ideals that are taught in school? They're, I guess, nice, but is diversity and inclusion really an American ideal?
I think so.
Where does it say that?
I think that everyone has the right to live out their own individuality, their own lives, in
No,
their own
I know,
way.
but you say the American ideal. Where do you get that from? Yeah, pursuit of happiness for Americans. You're right, because that's what the Declaration
I'm an
was written
American.
for. No, if that's fine.
Does that mean I'm not valid here for
No,
having
no,
a
but-
diverse background?
No, of course you are, but I'm saying that what?
So can I not express that?
Don't change the topic. You said we should be able to open up the country for people from all across the world.
Yeah.
Why do we believe that is a core belief?
Because we want to help people. That's the point. We came here a
Got
long
it.
time ago. We established a country a long time ago, and we want to have other people come in, I think, to live in the luxury that we live
Got
in
it.
now.
Last question.
I knew you
Are
were-
you okay with deporting every illegal person that's here?
No.
Why?
Because there's some people here that are not represented well by the media. There's a lot of illegal immigrants here that are working their butts off for the life that
No,
they want.
I don't care if they're working hard. But the point is, what should the punishment be for breaking into a country?
Depends on the crime you commit after
No, no.
you break into it.
Okay, no, that's it. I'm talking about just the crime is breaking in. What should the punishment be? I break into somebody's home. What should their punishment be?
Can you repeat that?
Oh, so if you behave after you get here, that's fine. So to play that out, if someone comes into your dorm room uninvited and they do the dishes and laundry, they can stay?
If I'm not going to do my own dishes, heck yeah. They're doing my dishes for me. Cool. If they don't kill me, I'm not dead. It is what it is, man.
Well, they are killing a lot of Americans, but
You say they, like they are?
Yes,
like
they.
all illegal immigrants kill people? That's crazy.
Many illegals do. Actually, the crime rate for illegals is far above that of native-born Americans. And even if it wasn't, it would not be there. No, but it's just interesting. The punishment for the crime of breaking into a nation should be what it is in Switzerland and Israel and Hungary. Every person who breaks into a nation uninvited goes back to their country of origin, period.
So why
End
is
of
there an
story.
emphasis on the southern border?
Because most people come illegally through the southern border. 10 million people have come across the southern border. And by the way, do you have any concern for the 320,000 missing kids that have also been sex trafficked across the southern border?
Of course I do.
But who's doing the sex trafficking?
A handful of people, not
No.
everybody else.
320,000. That's a lot.
The children.
Yeah, but each one of them has a handler.
I'm just
So, and that means that 320,000 sex pimps are bringing in sex slaves to this country.
the point I'm trying to make is that we categorize all illegal immigrants under the same thing: sex traffickers,
I'm
drug
not-
dealers.
Am I
and
doing
by
that?
you saying all illegal immigrants
No,
have
no,
to
no.
be deported,
Yes.
you're implying that all of
I'm not
them
implying
are
anything.
doing these
I'm being
terrible things,
super
and not a
clear.
small percentage of them.
Well, it's not small, actually. 320,000 out of 10 million is not small, actually. That's a serious number. That's 3.2% of all people that came into the country are connected to sex slavery in some way. That's insane, actually. 3.2% are connected to sex slavery. That's like a lot. But anyway, so let's just I want to just make clear. If you come into a country uninvited, definitionally you are a criminal.
We're just not going to agree.
It's fine. Then
That's
final
okay.
question. What is a criminal?
What is a criminal?
No. What is it? Would you agree with the definition that a criminal is someone who breaks the law?
Here's where I'm thinking. Here's the thing. I know how he's going to turn it, and I don't fully agree.
It's not a matter of turning it. It's a very ABC sequence. If they're not criminals, then tell me what a criminal is. And a criminal is obviously someone who breaks the law. Someone who comes across the southern border broke federal law. Therefore, they are a criminal.
Okay, then we can just disagree.
But you have to tell me what a criminal is, though. Oh, Trump. Yeah.
Yo.
You got to come up to the mic. Okay.
She's right behind me.
Yeah.
Have fun.
Can't tell me what a criminal is. Yeah. It's so sad. It's because if you want to really get down to it at the core, and she's a very sweet person who was there, the left cannot define core terms. Criminal, woman, racist, democracy.
Do you feel
proud of yourself for debating college kids who are unprepared to speak in front of an audience like you.
All right, that's where we're gonna stop it for the night. I'm already over 2 hours, so I got a lot to do tomorrow and need some sleep.
We'll keep doing a dive on some of this stuff and everything.
Yeah.
But so far, I can see how Charlie Kirk has hurt some people's feelings by the way he seems cold and calloused about some things, but I'm still not seeing racism, hatred, or bigotry.
Yeah.
I see like a strong sense of pride and a very idealistic way he thinks is American like life.
Yes.
I've always said that the American dream is different for all of us. It's my American dream to have my land and to be left the hell alone.
Yeah.
With my animals, raising my family. That's my American dream. That is the American dream of many of our forefathers, as a matter of fact.
It is, yes.
But for some of them, it's climbing the corporate ladder and having a home with a wife and kids and white picket fence and 2 cars in the driveway and a dog.
Yeah.
It's different for everybody. For some people, it's just carving out a little life for themselves that they can be proud of.
For some, it's getting away from the toxicness that was their running family.
Exactly. Yeah. That's it. Separating. Yeah. Ending the family curse and just being, left alone in your own little life. But as we say that even they say in the Bible, it's like these people are talking about like bringing different cultures together, and he, like he said, you have an American culture or you have colonies. And it's like you do want some generalized thing that everybody can agree on as an American.
Yes.
And like for us, it's like here we do our cultural practices, but when we go out into the world, it's Caesar's world. We do as Caesar does, and it's like that's just the courtesy.
Yes, that's exactly how it's supposed to be.
I can't say that I'll ever assimilate into American culture because I want to keep my own familial traditions
Yes.
and everything. But when we go out there, it's like, we're going to be law-abiding citizens.
You have to be.
We're law-abiding citizens in here too, but just like cultural practice.
Exactly. And I mean, you have to be, because if you don't, then regardless of however you feel, you could feel that you're in the right, but you're gonna get arrested.
Right.
You're gonna go to jail. I mean, it's gonna happen.
And there are certain things that you have to sit there and weigh and be like, yeah, that's worth going to jail over.
It is. That's very true.
But none of them, like for me, none of them, they don't have to do with my own like land and property.
Yeah.
Out there, if something happens, I have it coming. But like here, there should be some sense of unalienable protection. Especially
on your own land.
When you pay taxes.
When you pay taxes, when you buy your own place.
Right. And that is an old American ideal. That is something, like I said, going back to the very first. That's the Constitution right there.
Yes. Founding fathers. That's...
Exactly. So you got to always go back to that time, that document, and think, what was it that they were projecting for us in the future?
Exactly.
And it isn't having all this disarray and having people coming and trying to make it all about their culture and everything.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
I mean, hell, they originally ditched their own culture to start an American life.
Yes.
And then they turned around and kind of reintegrated it anyway.
I know.
But yeah, interesting.
Very. And Charlie Kirk, he's a very fascinating guy. As I've said a couple of times, it's like he knows his stuff. He's very well spoken for. Very well, for the most part, spoken about. I've got no issues with him. I mean, we don't agree politically. That's fine. Yeah. It is what it is. But he's still very well centered.
It's not because he's like a Trump who was a Trump supporter. It was just because to me, my family would probably call him bootlicker. Like the president could do no wrong. I'm going to follow you faithfully to the end, no matter what. And it's like I don't like that. But that was pretty much it,
yeah, he's got very good core values.
Yes,
he's a great family man. Those kids and Erica got robbed.
Yeah.
All in the name of shutting free speech down.
Yeah, I did throat chopper, man.
That is wrong. That is by every level, and that gives it no meaning to any other side going out and doing the same thing to somebody else.
Yeah, no.
You don't do that. Erica, I mean, she's a hell of a woman for forgiving, the kid herself. She never said that he doesn't deserve what he's gonna get.
Right.
She says that she forgives him so that she can have a free, clean spirit going to heaven.
Yeah. See, like I always say, if you're gonna like fight a righteous fight, then you better have the true, honest, moral high ground.
Yes.
You know, so if you're gonna complain to somebody about doing something, it's like all of your ducks better be in a row first.
Exactly. That's exactly right. All right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This was a big one tonight. Good. Thank you. We'll be back with more, I'm sure, on this subject, as things go on, because it's not done yet. So, namaste, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Have a good night, everybody.
Have a great night.
Always have to one at me.